God, it feels so professional. Now that I took the 5 seconds to turn my AFK screen into a startup screen. I am the best streamer on Twitch. Fucking best. Dr. Disrespect, he's got nothing on me. Nothing.
Not a single thing.
Except maybe some kind of doctorate in disrespect. I can't say that I do. Well, I guess we might as well just get the show on the road.
I wouldn't put you having a doctorate in disrespect past you.
Nah, I have a bachelor's in disrespect. Well, let's get started. Previously on Dungeons and Dragons, the group went to Fort Bulgarian, where they met with Liara Portier, the Major, and Grand Duke Ravengard's official representative here in Chult. They went in search of a charter of exploration because the Flaming Fist have gone and claimed sort of the top third of the peninsula of Chult as like their territory, and nobody's really in a position to stop them. So like, yeah, we own the shit. And everyone's like, well, no, you don't, but we can't really do anything about it. So it's just shrugs. So they went and got a charter so that they could give away half the things they find and not have them taken from them because bureaucracy. After that, they finally returned to Port Nyanzaru, bought supplies, and headed out into the jungle. And they are on the fourth day of their trek as they slowly wind their way towards Firefinger, where their guide, Zaka Stormfang, she has got a personal vendetta with the Terra folk over at Firefinger that stole a mask from her. And in exchange for being their guide for free, she wants them to help her get it back. So that's what you guys have decided to do. So we left off. You guys had a good night's sleep. You had managed to scrounge together a good amount of food, enough that you won't really need to go looking for food today. Like you're set for lunch and dinner and all that today. But Wacky, you need to make your survival checks as you guys start off into the woods.
Good.
That's fantastic.
Good.
So, where were you attempting to get to? You guys, like, where were you thinking of going?
Down here.
To the one below? Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to head straight south?
Yep.
Okay, so
Not where we're going.
you never know.
Maybe.
You know what? I didn't determine. I rolled, but then I didn't determine what one is. Fucking God, I'm bad at this. Where's a D12? There's a D12. So that's 1. Okay, so we're just gonna do one of these. Boop. As you guys head off into the woods. So the rain has kind of let up today. Like as you kind of sort of march on, where's all my notes that I've got? You guys sort of march on through the woods. Not really, assuming you're going the right way. You know, you kind of, your sense of direction's not always super good in the big heavy canopied jungle. The rain sort of let up. It's just down to like a slight drizzle. And you come across... so you get through the morning without incident. Late into the afternoon, the rains continue to just gently drizzle. It sort of starts and stops. It's not really doing much. It's probably the nicest day you've had since you've set out from Port Nyanzaru. You come across mid-afternoon you see a herd of brontosauruses drinking from a small, like, little lake or pond. It looks like there's maybe 8 or 9 of them. They're probably they're like a good 150 feet from you.
Is it a lake pond or is it a river?
Nope.
Green.
It just looks like a small pond, maybe a few 100 feet across, if that. From your
one? Well, my mic wasn't picking up. Do we want to hunt one?
I wasn't thinking about it.
Wait, what type of dinosaur you said?
Brontosaurus.
I don't know if you want to hunt one.
I guess
Yeah.
a group of them would be Brontosauri.
Cause
Tauruses.
that's a big
Yeah.
dinosaur.
They do look quite big.
I don't think we want to fuck with that.
We could get a baby.
I don't know. I don't see how that helps us.
I mean, maybe we'll just watch them.
Sure, we can watch them.
Because I don't think they would take too kindly to you taking a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may not.
It's not like
Many
they just
animals
run
are.
away and ignore they're dying.
Yeah, many animals are quite protective of their young. Strange, really. I mean, why would they be so protective of their young? What kind of animal would do that?
Yeah, I'd rather just move along. Or we can watch them. It's up to you guys.
Well, they're just drinking, right?
So, Pyro, give me a perception check. So you do see that one of the Brontosauruses, it does look like a baby, and it's kind of like bounding around like the outskirts, just like hopping around.
Pyro? No. No. Pyro.
We need somebody to do stupid stuff now that we don't have Flash.
Oh my god, do not anger though.
No, I'm just gonna watch it.
So
Like,
you
"Oh,
know,
cute baby. I'll point him out.
so you notice that most of them are drinking from the lake, and a couple of them seem to be eating. They're kind of like digging out, like with their big noses. Well, I guess they're big everything, but they seem to be digging out some kind of roots and eating them.
I will look around on the floor near us if there's anything that resembles those roots.
They'd be under the
Uh,
ground.
Probably had to dig.
give me a survival check.
That'll go well.
You only have a better
Yes.
bonus than I do.
Give me a diggy dig check.
Huh?
So
I
you
know,
kind
it's
of
the same bonus.
like stick your long sword in the ground and kind of like a spade and kind of dig around. You find some roots after you dig far enough. I mean, there's plants all over the place. Whether these are the same roots as what they're eating, it's kind of tough to tell from this distance, but they look similar, if not maybe a little bit different.
What does Aka know?
She might.
I will ask her anyways. I'm like, you know what these roots are? It looks like they're eating them. Are they edible?
She's going to do a perception check, see if she can figure out
Do
exactly
they
what
glow
they're
in the
eating.
dark too when you shake them?
Everything in the jungle glows in the dark when you shake it.
You know, a deer eats grass. We don't think about eating grass.
So she tells you that it looks like the Brontosauruses are eating wild root. And the stuff that you dug up, Pyro, is root. It's root, and it is wild, but it is not wild root.
I'm gonna ask her to explain the difference to me.
A
Okay.
space.
Actually, not a space, yeah. Or not a space, depending on the way you look at it. So she tells you that wild roots, they have the ability to rid the body of poisons. That inside the roots are like if you like basically squeeze out the juice from the roots, you can use it as almost an herbal remedy to rid the body of poison.
can go pick up some of that.
Wow.
We don't have any of that. We'd have to wait for
Yeah,
them to
we can
move
go
on.
dig some up from where the brontosauruses are digging it up.
Well,
Get a
we
little
might
bit
want to
closer to the lake pond thing.
We might want to wait till they leave.
Yeah, you imagine she tells you that the patch that they're kind of a couple of them are digging up and eating, like wild root doesn't really grow. Like you see it here and there all throughout the jungle, but it's not prevalent. So, if there's any left by the time they're done, you could have at it, but they may also, like brontosauruses don't really, they take their time. They don't really go charging around the jungles like
They're
says, like
grazing animals.
yeah. She said they may be here for hours or days.
Are they hostile looking? Like, are brontosauruses in general hostile? I'll ask her.
She tells you not in particular, not as much as some other dinosaurs happen to be, but she warns you to there's still, if you go like swimming around their legs, it's probably going to spook them, and they can be extremely dangerous when frightened.
They're Vegisaurus.
Yeah, just them defending themselves, they're tough adversaries for someone your size.
You calling me short, lady?
Like, what's...
This thing is like 2 stories tall, and you're calling me short.
Technically, she's also taller than you.
Yeah, she is. That's why I made that comment.
72 feet long. So they're about 15 feet high at the hips. So yeah, it's like so they're about 15 feet high to the top of their back. So their head and their, like when their head's up, it can stretch up probably another 10 feet beyond that. So they're pretty big. Just standing straight up, it looks quite tall.
I don't want to bother them.
So
We have
Mostly-
other ways to cure poison. I guess we don't really need
Like
the wild root.
you.
Yeah, like me. But like,
We're not like the Baldur's Gate people. We're not gonna bother these dinosaurs.
if we'll keep an eye out for some if we see some, grab it. Doesn't hurt to have some around, I guess. Next time we're foraging or something. I'll
Alright,
ask her
then I
if
guess
like
we're just
it
moving on.
grows, like specifically near water bodies, or is it just anywhere?
kind of anywhere. So if you wanted to, you could try and keep. She recommends, like, if your heart's that set on finding some, maybe this next little bit as you guys can continue on, like the rest of the day, you could try and keep an eye out for some, since if there's a patch there might be some more growing around here as well.
Is the entire route underground, or does it have a plant attached to it that you could find?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Like, otherwise,
I'm sure there's
I'll
something.
look out for it. Some signification that it's there.
Yeah.
I'm just like thinking, it's all underground. How do we keep an eye out for it?
I would say there's probably some, like there would be a little bush type thing attached to the top of it, like sort of specific, like nothing too pronounced, but like a little shrub that the roots are attached to. So, I mean, if the roots have to have something, like think of a carrot,
Yeah.
like there's still a thing that sticks up out of the ground.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so yeah, she kind of shows you, she kind of gives you a general description of kind of what to keep an eye out for. So you guys continue on. You get another mile or so, and you come across a large horde of zombies.
Oh, lovely.
So, sort of poking out from behind a tree, you kind of notice there's just this huge group of them. And a bunch of them are sort of piled up what looks like a not Tyrannosaurus, Brontosaurus, and they're eating it. So it looks like maybe one of the members of that pack kind of lagged behind or got caught by these zombies, and they're just a whole bunch of them are just going to town with it.
I'm gonna tell the party, like, see, it could have been us eating that Brontosaurus.
Stop.
One
Stop
down.
that. No.
We're also not a pack of zombies.
So, looking at sort of like the size of the horde and where you have to go, going around them is going to kind of put you off course by quite a bit. There seems to be, probably like 3 dozen of them at least. Like there's a good lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna fight like 32 zombies.
36, but yeah.
36, sorry.
Pyro, give me a survival check too,
Oh yeah.
as you guys have been walking around.
Nope. Probably stepped right on one and didn't notice.
I'm gonna roll a survival check for Azaka. So during your journey, Azaka was able to find one wild root, and she pulled it up and gave it to you since you wanted one so badly.
I will thank her. Wild root.
I don't think we're looking for a fight here, so we're gonna have to go around.
Why is my internet being stupid?
Yeah, I think we should quietly go around them. Can we see, like, where they came from? Like,
Should have restarted my modem is what I should have done before booting up the stream. Just noticed
Like,
a
can we
huge
see an
drop.
area where-
Oh, I'm dropping frames hard. Why is it doing this?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I
Yeah,
can hear you.
Okay.
I'm just watching my OBS is dropping frames like crazy.
Completely ignoring me.
God.
Can we see, like, a path where the zombies came from? So we know they're probably not going to go back that way.
Zombies, they're not predictable.
Yeah, but they're also not likely to... They're likely to go in one direction and just keep going.
Well, it doesn't look like they're really in a big hurry to move. They seem to be kind of just hunkered down in this area.
How spread out are they? Is it possible we could, like, sneak around them?
Oh yeah, well, you can definitely go around the horde, but it's going to put you like way off course doing so. Like it's going to be a really big detour.
I think we have to, though.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, so may as well.
I do not imagine we will survive a fight against 36 zombies.
Yeah. What makes
We
you
could-
say that?
We could put a big dent in them, but that's too many.
Kill 12 zombies each. It's fine.
I could kill 12.
Alright, we're going around. Hey, you guys might be able to. I couldn't.
I think you could kill more than 12. You have spells.
This is when a fireball would be handy.
Yeah, right. I'll be sure to pick that up whenever we level up.
So yeah, we're going around the long way.
Okie dokie. You guys are going to end up. I'm going to roll for this. Okay, so you get to a spot, like as it starts to get dark, you kind of decide to call it for the night. Yeah, so it's dark, you decide to call it for the night. You've got like plenty of food. The rain has not really picked up at all today, so setting out your rain catchers, like looking at the weather and that, doesn't look like it's going to rain at all tonight, so setting up the rain catchers is kind of pointless. So you're not going to be able to restock your water. I'm dropping frames like fucking crazy. I might actually have to restart my stream.
2 gallons per day, right?
Yep, 2 gallons per day. So you've got your water to cover you for the day, but
So we'd be down to 1 at the end of the day.
Yeah, so if you don't get more water by the time you make camp tomorrow, you might be in some trouble. Might start getting a little dehydrated. A little parched. A little parched. So, yeah, so you guys make it through the night unaccosted. What are you guys doing for watch? Just so that I know. Like, I guess the four of you splitting it?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
Any particular order?
Well, now that some of us have to sleep, or now that all of us have to sleep, I mean,
Yeah.
I
No
guess-
elves.
I can take.
I take
First
We
first
should
watch.
probably. Well, Jez should probably go first.
Why?
You're not very attentive.
That's true, but it could happen at any time of the night.
I know, but
Don't matter when it is. Yeah.
You can also, like, yeah, so basically just come up with an order for who's taking watch at what time. You can also factor Izaka in there. If you guys trust her to not, like, just leave you in the middle of the woods. Like, just,
Well,
like, slit your
right now,
throats while you're asleep and leave.
It's really fine right now because we're helping her. Hopefully she
So, yeah.
that way.
So basically just
Oh.
so give me some kind of an order. That way if something does happen in the middle of the night, I know who to blame. We know who gets the blame for it.
What was it? So I guess I'll go, then Pyro, then Wacky.
we'll wake up Azaka to be the last
Oh,
person.
actually, how many hours does each watch have to be?
Well, you need 8 hours
8
of
hours
sleep.
or 2, right? Or
You need
no?
8 hours of sleep, or no, you need 8 hours of rest. 6 of it has to be sleep, right? Something like that.
I will get the exact wording out of the something book. The player's
That's
something
it.
something.
Would it be okay if I set up a hut?
Even if you set up a hut,
I-
like a magical hut.
I have Leoman's tiny hut.
That would probably shelter you from the rain at least. What is? Really? There we go. Tiny hut. 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence, blah blah blah. 9 creatures fit in the dome. Spell includes a larger creature. Creatures can move through it freely. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome. How long is this left? Oh, 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could burn. What is that? Level 3 spell? Yeah.
Yeah. Considering we get our long rest anyway, I'll just have it back.
You better use the washroom before you go in.
Well, you can also go in and out of it.
She
Okay.
can't,
Oh, she can't.
because once she leaves it, it's gone.
I mean, if it keeps us safe throughout the night, I can just spend the spell slot every night.
If you have it at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking up long rest. Like, I completely friggin' just blanked. See, resting. Okay. Thanks. Please send me somewhere else when I go to resting. Please send me somewhere else. I love it when it does that. 186. Normally I can just, like, when I need to look something up, I'll just flip to that section, but, like, resting, I don't actually know where in the book that is. It's been so long since I've read it.
There's a certain section
Yeah,
called-
at least 8 hours long of downtime, blah, 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 blah. During which a character sleeps or performs light activity, reading, talking, eating, or standing watch for no more than 2 hours. So, yeah, it's
They
8
need 4
hours.
people.
It's 8 hours, but you could spend up to 2 of that standing watch or just doing something else. So you really only need the 6 hours of sleep, but you need 2 hours of light activity as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, So you guys could do 2 hours apiece, divided between the 4 of you. That is no problem. So what order? It's going to be Jez.
I'll go last.
Oh, okay. I thought we already set it up.
Uh,
Jez, then me, then Azaka, then Pyro.
Jez, Wacky, Azaka, and Pyro. 8 hours. I've got all sorts of cheat sheets and fancy shit on this page now. Okay, so you guys wake up in the morning. You know, the sky looks pretty clear. So you decide it's time to set off. Continuing to
Oh,
head
boy.
south. So,
Good thing I have advantage on that.
I'm going to say you just barely would pass it. So you're able to figure out, according to the map, that you are here. You seem to have gone off track of where you thought you were going to go. You didn't go as south as you wanted to.
Whoops.
So, where do you want to go from here?
Wondering if we should head back towards the ridge, because I don't really like the looks of that skull.
well,
I don't think that skull actually is a thing, like on
Yeah,
its own. I think it's just more of a...
it's undead territory. That's kind of what we're going through.
I say.
Oh wait, all the yellow is undead territory.
Yep.
Well,
That's something I forgot to open. I forgot to open my cheat sheet, my DM map.
the advantage
Jolt
to hex
DM.
is that the distance between each hex is the same no matter which direction you go. So
Yeah, the skull and crossbones are just like random markers on your map. They're not a location or something like that.
So
Let's just
it's-
head straight down then.
yeah, either way, we gotta go right or down,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter which order we do it in. I figure we just keep going straight down till we get to the place.
So, again, day stays dry. You guys are having a fairly unexciting walk through the jungle for the most part, up until about mid-afternoon when you hear some rustling like up ahead of you in the bushes, probably about a good 150 feet or so.
Well, either animals or
Or
undead.
zombies. Yep.
I guess we'll just like stop and keep watch in that direction to see if we can see what it is. Or at least that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So you kind of peer ahead, like you kind of push forward, seeing what it is. Once you get like clear enough into or close enough to sort of see what's going on, give me a perception check.
All of us?
Whoever is pushing forward to check it out.
Look at that nat 20.
No. Lol.
So Pyro, you notice through through the jungle, like sort of poking your head above the kind of the low brush. There seems to be a few zombies, and they're kind of like milling about and poking around another dead dinosaur. This one looks like a Tyrannosaurus. And unlike the Brontosaurus, this one doesn't look recently killed. Like, this thing's just, like, decayed and rotten. Like, this thing looks like it's been there for a while. And with that 21, you kind of notice, like, something gleaming. Like, you catch, like, a glittery gleam coming out of the sort of the little hole, like one of the holes in its like chest cavity. Like there's something shiny inside. Like maybe it ate something. Like perhaps it ate something or someone that had something valuable. But there was some sort of... You caught a glittery gleam of treasure inside this Tyrannosaurus's belly.
Well, we are here to treasure hunt.
How many zombies are there?
Yeah.
Pyro can tell you that he sees that a cat is sitting on all my fucking dice. There are 5 zombies.
We can take them.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Let's go get us some treasure. I'm gonna look at Wacky. I'm gonna look at Sharon. I'm gonna be like, if this is something magical, Karen.
I won't take it. I probably won't. I won't take it.
It might burn me,
Okay.
so
Listen. Fine.
let's get into battle mode.
So where about are they just like all bunched up on the thing, or?
Yeah, they all seem to be kind of like packed in pretty close to it. All within...
Man.
They're all within like probably a 25-foot or so group. Like they're all pretty tightly packed in there.
Man,
How far
fireball.
away are we from them?
Yeah, you guys are still about a good 100 feet. Like far enough away that you've seen this without alerting them.
I mean, I can reach from here, so I don't need to move. But
I'll activate my sword, and I don't know if Pyro wants to sneak up with me, but
Yeah, I do.
I think
Not
we
gonna
should.
go very well, but
No, it's not gonna go very well, but we'll get closer than we are now.
Yeah, we'll separate a little bit, and we'll like.
What does Azaka have? It's a longbow she has. So you see
flank.
Azaka kind of like sits down beside, kind of crouches beside Wacky and draws like her longbow. Doesn't look like she really wants to get in
That's fine.
all that close.
Kind of
I forgot she had a longbow last time.
So I think we'll break off. I'll be like 20 feet, like horizontally away from Pyro while we're walking up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll move up like 20 feet or something, so I'm 80 feet away from them at least.
But we just want to walk up until
Until
either
we
we
have
get
to
to
start
them.
sneaking.
Yeah, well, either we're gonna be sneaking the entire way, but we'll walk up there until they notice us and it starts. Or if we get up to them, then it definitely starts.
I'll prep something for the first thing that Jez hits.
We won't be able to really tell when that is until it happens.
Yeah.
And you'll probably have very much a lot of warning. Anyways,
So
I don't know if you want
Pyro and
multiple
Jez are
stealth checks.
sneaking. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely need stealth checks.
I guess they're gonna be in
Oh well.
pairs. Oh, so you're gonna start it off good.
So
Good thing we're still very far away.
Jez kind of goes like creeping ahead. He kind of cuts in front of Pyro first, takes the lead, and just kind of slips through the trees and through the bushes and undergrowth like a cat. You know, like a large jungle cat. He just kind of just slinks through. You know, like the bushes are barely making a sound as they rustle past him. Pyro tries to copy that move. And he's like, oh, that looks so easy. And he starts trying to like slink back and forth through it. And Jez, you just hear behind you crunch, snap, as like things start to echo out.
Everything.
He had his armor.
Though I would say Wacky, you especially, you and Azaka notice that like oh yeah. Two of the zombies start to break off and head in the direction of where Jez and Pyro are sneaking through the bushes. You guys have gotten about 20 feet closer, and the zombies seem to be slinking towards you, alerted by the sound.
This is very much raptors in the field.
This is very much what I expected to happen.
That's fine.
He should have just taken should just borrowed Jez's shield and started banging on it like a couple of pots.
I have a shield.
Yeah, he's got to shield himself.
No, you
So
should have taken both shields and banged them together like cymbals. Like, hey, zombies!
So two of them are going after Jez and Pyro.
Yep.
And
So two of them are broken off from the pack. Just for the interest of funsies now, I'm going to get you guys to roll initiative. Azaka.
Find my token.
I clicked on him at the beginning of the session.
And
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Sam Bambo.
Nice, dude.
Hey,
Sam
we rolled the same
Bambos.
initiative. We're good.
I
Azaka.
rolled a 3.
Azaka's got a 12. Zombies have... No. Actually, gotta look them up. They might have less than the 7. I can't remember what their negative penalties to Dex. It's decent.
I think it's -2.
Yeah, it is -2. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3. I know it wasn't. It was more than 1. So they also have 7. So they will
I
go
just know they
last.
have no AC.
So,
Jesus, guys.
Well, we all go first. Still.
Hey, jackpot.
777.
yeah. So
Jackpot.
what are you guys are moving through difficult terrain? What is their speed? So 2 of the zombies are I'm gonna say it. The area around the Tyrannosaur and kind of the area where the zombies are congregating has been kind of cleared out. So maybe the Tyrannosaurus rolling around before it was killed or thrashing about trying to save itself has kind of cleared an area there. So there's probably about a good 20-25 foot radius around the Tyrannosaurus that's cleared out. The rest is still thick jungle and difficult terrain. So the zombies that went investigating, they're about 20 feet ahead of the pack. The other 3 don't really seem to be paying all that much attention. Jez and Pyro, you guys are 20 feet ahead. So you're 80 feet out from the Tyrannosaur, 60 feet out from those front zombies, and then Wacky, you and Azaka are just kind of crouched in the bushes and kind of probably behind like a felled tree, using it for cover, where you have like a good spot to shoot. Wacky, you get to go first. I need Z.
I'll take a shot at one of the ones that are headed in Pyro and Jez's direction.
Sure, you can roll those with advantage. They don't know you're there.
No, I don't think I'll need it.
Those will hit.
They still could be crits.
They could be crit. Just
Oh,
roll
sure.
2D. Oh, okay. I was gonna say just roll 2d20 or roll them
Oh
again.
shit, that was weird.
Yeah. So you pepper 2 shots into the first one, and it staggers. I'm gonna roll. Okay. One of the zombies. So zombie 1. So you pepper one of them, and it staggers and almost comes right off its feet, but it seems to hold its ground and continue its slow, methodical approach. One of the other zombies that was at the front, like still sitting in like the pack, unawares, it hears these shots go off and smack the zombie that you hit, and he's now interested in what's going on. He's now starting to kind of wander to like where his buddies are going. He's like, oh, it's like Frank, Steve, where you guys going? What's going on over there? So if you don't really want to do anything else, it's Azaka's turn. Azaka gets 2 attacks with that.
Oh.
What are you meowing about? You were supposed to be asleep. You're supposed to be asleep. You're a cat. You sleep like 30 hours a day. Do more of that. Yeah, she gets 2 shots. So she's going to first put an arrow into that one that you hit very effectively. I don't think... Okay, so she just hits it in the throat, and this thing just topples. And then the zombie Makes a Constitution saving throw. So yeah. So she just nails this zombie in the throat with an arrow, and the thing just crumples. And then after like a couple of seconds, it kind of it like reverse crumples back up to its feet. Now with like an arrow just like sticking halfway through its throat. Like the thing's buried halfway down the shaft. And it's like moaning and grumbling is now like really hoarse, and
That's good.
like there's some like goo that's kind of sputtering out of the hole like whenever it tries to moan. So you see her kind of gag a little. It's like, oh, it's so gross, and she shoots it again. That's gonna hit for more damage. So she fires at the thing, hits it in like kind of the cheek area of the face, and the zombie goes down. And you all just kind of stop and wait and watch and watch and it doesn't seem to get back up. So it looks like it might be down or crawling through the bush. You're not sure, but probably
All
down.
right.
It could have broke its knee and now it just can't walk.
Jez.
Arrow to the cheek, not the knee.
Yeah, but
Well, your cheek is connected to your knee. Everybody knows
I'm
that.
saying when it went down, it broke its leg. Not that hard. I think. So can we see the zombies are coming towards us?
I
We just
would.
know combat's happening over our
So,
head.
like you guys are, like, I'm assuming that by stealthing up, you guys are kind of ducked in the, like, tall grass and that. You guys could sort of poke up and look, but you be risking exposing yourselves. Right now, like, you know that the zombies are probably attracted to the sound that Pyro was making. So that's what they're heading for. They haven't necessarily seen you. So
Yeah, we
you
know
guys could kind of continue on through the brush if you wanted to, or you could like pop up and see what's going on.
Yeah, we know that
At the
we
risk
know that
of being
zombies are
spotted.
coming towards us because the plane is already fucked.
Yeah. You heard Wacky start firing things off, and you heard like a couple arrows whistle by, and you hear zombies going like, "Ugh, ugh."
I guess I'm gonna.
And then one going.
I'm gonna keep stealthing forward
Okay.
and
Keep your head low. Keep going.
until I.
And you
come
tell
across something.
and you tell Pyro to go the other way.
That was the plan. We were supposed to be
We're
like,
already 20 feet
yeah,
apart.
Oh, I thought you guys were going together. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that
yeah,
way.
so they're heading towards Pyro, and yeah, Wacky and Azaka can clearly see that they're going towards Pyro, not Jez. So Jez, you can get another half your movement.
Yeah.
I guess,
And-
are you trying to sort of circle around, or you kind of just?
Well, I don't know anything is going straight that way, so I'm just kind of. I'll probably veer more towards the middle because I
Yep.
figure they'd be going towards the loud noises. And if I come across any, I'm gonna stab them. But it definitely hasn't been that long. But what I'll do is when I get to the middle.
Are you just double moving essentially then?
No, I'm just gonna move the 15 feet,
Okay.
and when I get to the end of my movement, I'm gonna hold an action to ambush the first thing that comes through the brush towards me. That decays.
Okay. You're 80. Yep. Okay, that takes us to Pyro. So, Pyro, you, without looking, you can kind of assume that your cover's been kind of blown. You have a feeling from the sounds of what's going on around you that you made enough noise to attract them to your location, but you're pretty sure that because you're like hunkered down in the brush, that there's no way they could have seen you, but they probably have heard you. So the same thing. You could attempt to continue along and continue executing your trap for said zombies.
Yeah, 'cause technically, if you do a good enough stealth roll, you
they'll
could
go towards
get
that,
away.
and yeah,
they'll go towards where you were and not where you were.
yeah, that's the
Otherwise, they'll
plan.
just clunk, clunk, clunk.
Well, you do know that zombies are not particularly intelligent.
Yeah.
There's also the chance that I could run into them halfway.
Yep.
There's
No.
also that.
Well, probably not. But it's a lot of distance between you. You've only gone what, 15 feet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will try to stealth another 15 feet closer to them.
Okay.
Keyword being try. Better than
You're
before.
Still a beacon of sound.
Yeah, you're still, well, considering you're taking disadvantage on those checks because you're in heavy
Oh,
armor.
shit, right. Yep.
So yeah, you're
Never
still
mind.
like crunch, snap. You're like, okay, I gotta be more careful this time. Let me just stand on this dried twig that looks like it'll definitely hold my weight. Nope, didn't hold my weight at all. You know, at this point, like a few birds probably just like get startled and spook out of like the bushes because Pyro's making so much noise.
I'm just gonna stand up now. And be like, well, just here I am.
Okay, so you stand up. You see that there is one zombie. He had moved the 80, and you had moved. So he's probably about 50 feet from you. And he's just like heading straight for you. You also see that there's another one in the pack that's kind of turned around and has started to move towards you. And they're both starting to like grumble and moan, not louder now. Enough that the rest of them are starting to now that you've been spotted, the other ones are kind of getting the hint of like, oh, there's like food over here. So they're all looking at you.
I will move even closer to them.
Yep.
The rest of my 15 feet.
Yeah, your next other 15 feet. Okay.
Yep.
So you were about 35 feet away from the zombie. So it is their turn. All four of them are just going to start heading towards Pyro. One of them, the one out in front of the two that originally broke off, he pushes forward. Double moves, essentially. He gets to within about 15 feet of Pyro as he just kind of pushes through the tall brush. The other ones get to sort of the start of the thick brush and start pushing into it. So they're about 20 feet behind the one in front. So you got one 15 feet in front of Pyro, and three in a nice little group, tight group, about 20 feet behind that. Wacky, it is your turn.
So if I moved my 30 feet, how far away would I be from Pyro?
Pyro, well, if you move your whole 30 feet, it's all difficult terrain between you and him.
So 15 feet, I guess.
Yeah, so he's gone about 30 feet already. Actually, yeah. Him and Jez have each gone. Well, actually, I counted your first one as 20. Since we were not in combat, I just roughed it out for 20. To essentially a double move, but reduced for stealth. So yeah, he's about 35 feet from you. So is Jez.
I moved twice, actually, so I should be like 50 feet from her.
Oh, that's right. You moved again, so yeah, it'd be 50. So Pyro's essentially halfway between you and the big T-Rex.
Well, I'll move up closer, just so I can get a bit closer to Pyro. Let's call it 10 feet, and then I'll blast one of the ones in front.
Okay, yeah, there's the one in front that's really close to Pyro, and then the other three are in a big group further back.
It's gonna be one of those fights where we just keep getting closer, and the range just keeps taking down the things in front of us.
So you pepper it. You blast it a couple of times, and it staggers in front of Pyro. And an intelligent creature would probably look around to see where those shots come from. But this thing has just it's only got eyes for Pyro. Like, this thing's just fixated on him.
Fantastic.
Like, these things blindside it, and it stumbles, but it doesn't even, unlock its gaze from Pyro's face. His meaty face.
Oh no, what will I do?
I don't like you much either.
Damn.
Star Wars.
Azaka is going to attempt to slow down the rest of the pack because she assumes that Pyro can take care of the one in front pretty easily. She's going to fire 2 arrows. Those are both going to hit into, we'll say the one. She's going to fire them into the one furthest from Jez. Ooh, that's big money. Where is... I don't remember what her bonus is. Blah, blah, blah. What? Oh, there it is. So she's going to do a whole bunch. She does a ton of damage to one of them and staggers it. And the thing kind of slowly gets back up to its feet and continues to march forward. A little slower than before, but it's still pushing with undead-like tenacity. Jez.
Fervor.
You now hear what seems like a whole undead brouhaha.
And they sound how far away? Like 50 feet?
Something like that. You imagine this is all centered upon, like, Pyro. You think Pyro's gotten the whole group's attention at this point. He's tanking for you.
Okay. Sucks. I should have double moved the first time. In that case, I'm gonna keep my trajectory and double move, like slightly parallel to Pyro.
So you're basically trying to, like, maintain the... Like, were you guys trying to go completely opposite ways, or were you just sort of forking apart, like, a little bit?
At the start, we forked apart 20 feet, and then we were going straight.
Okay, so then you would still be about, like, 20 feet apart then.
Yeah, so...
Because he's just sort of pushing forward now towards the group. So you're just going to try and you're just going to push forward and maintain that?
I'm going to maintain that until I close in the trap. This horrible, horrible trap that mine's never...
So you push forward another 30 feet.
So we want 2 stealth checks? Or 1?
I just give you 1. 1 will be plenty there. These are very simple... Yeah. You don't think... You make a little bit of noise, but you don't think it's probably enough to deter them from Pyro. Pyro's really... From the sounds of it, he seems to be just full-on engaging these things, so you're not all that worried about it. Speaking of Pyro, it's your turn.
I will move the 15 feet to him.
Okay.
And I will hit him. Ooh.
That's a hit. These things don't really seem to be armored or anything. They're just covered in tattered rags. 13 is definitely enough. You also get your plus D8.
Yeah.
What'd you do? That's going to be way too much for him to save.
Isn't it 2d8?
Let me check.
I don't remember.
I thought it was the exact same as mine, except cold instead of radiant.
Does
it's
extra 1d8 to undead. 1.
Oh.
Yeah. Because this thing's not as powerful. Because he's also had this thing for a while.
Yeah.
This thing's not like a famous
It's from the
legendary.
level 3 area.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, mine's endgame in that one book.
So, yeah. Whatever the D8's going to be, he's not going to be able to come back from that. Oh, and you know what? Oh no, this thing does cold. It doesn't do radiant. Yeah. So you drop it, you cleave it in half. It is dead.
Does it get back up?
It does not get back up. You make a good concerted effort to, like, cut this thing, like, clean in half so that it can't get back up.
Oh, I was right. They're both the same. They're both 1d8.
Oh, okay.
Then I will... Well, that's really all I can do. It's not like there's something else I can attack. Not close enough.
They are not close enough. What did I say there? They were 20 feet behind. So the other zombies get to Pyro and begin to surround him. So Pyro, you are now completely surrounded by zombies.
by
On
3
all sides
zombies.
of you. That is all they can really do, though. Takes their entire move to get there, but you
Two
now
zombies
have
per-
zombies on all sides of you.
I think it's 3, isn't it?
It's-
I already me and Azaka killed one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you killed one. There were 5. I
Yep.
just killed the other.
Yeah, so this is the
that'd be
other 3.
Oh, right.
I will.
One of them is hurt pretty bad.
I will intimidate them.
You,
like,
you don't
You haven't
think
done
that's
that in a
probably
while.
going to work.
It doesn't work on smart people. It's not gonna work on dumb people.
Wacky, it is your turn.
I'll go for the one furthest back. I think Azaka's already hit this one, so I don't know if this will kill it. That's probably not gonna kill it, huh?
No. No.
Big damage rolls.
that is a hit. That will, you kind of knock it on its ass. And it does get back up, though.
I'll move forward another 10 feet.
Okay. Azaka is going to attempt to finish the job on the one that you shot at. That's a hit. That's big damage. No whammy. That zombie gets back up. Now with an arrow, like, firmly planted in, like, the side of its face. Azaka shoots at it again. I think that's gonna miss. What's her plus? Nope, that is gonna just hit. Wow. For that much damage, and that zombie gets back up.
God fucking damn it.
It now has 2 arrows, like one sticking out of each cheek. It's like that guy at the mall, like, works at,
Like that guy at the mall.
the guy that fucking runs the little stand with, like, the earlobe spreaders.
Oh.
Whatever those, why can't I, the indexing things for stretching your earlobes out. It sells them at the little stand, like outside the Hot Topic. That's all Azaka can do. Jez!
I'm going to start closing in on the trap because now I hear actual swinging of swords and cleaving of body parts.
Yep.
So I'll change direction and go towards Pyro. I'll see if I break every... Oh, I'm still good.
Yep.
That still puts 5 feet difference. Is that enough to get to them?
I'll say yeah. I'll say you can just kind of reach. You're just able to make it to one of them. The other one's like sort of on the other side of Pyro from you, so you're not gonna be able to reach the second one. But
Wasn't there 3?
there is 3, but they're in like a triangle formation around Pyro at this
Okay.
point.
How did one of them get behind me?
No, it's not behind you. They're just slightly behind and to the right. And one straight in front of you. Anyways, first attack on that guy. Will I have advantage or just normal?
The first one I'll give you advantage on, since you've stealthed your way up there so well. Yep, that's a hit.
Not that you needed it, but
So you just suddenly pop up out of the bushes and just like cleave like one of its arms off with your lightsaber. Like all of a sudden you just like pop up like what? And it's just gone. An arm just goes flying off through the jungle. It is still alive though.
I guess I'll just roll it again.
It is now keenly aware of your presence.
That's fine.
That is going to hit, and you manage to just cleave the thing in two. Effortlessly just sort of cut through it like a hot knife through butter. And it is dead.
Yeah.
And because your sword is made out of radiant energy, it cannot come back from that. Pyro.
you've
You've got 2 zombies left on you. One of them has got a whole bunch of like face dressing, like it's just got all these big arrows just hanging out of its face. It's kind of gross. Other one seems fine.
As fine as zombies can get, but
Yep.
I'm gonna hit the one with the face dressings.
Okay. You smack it. And it is
Another
dead.
crit on damage.
It is dead for good. So, you finish off the job.
Then I will attack the other one.
You just kind of turn and swing. That's a hit. Roll your extra... Well, it's not dead anyways. But also roll your extra damage.
There we go.
You do some big damage to Mr. Zambambo. He's the only one left, and it is his turn. Now he's going to attempt to eat you. And by eat you, I mean he's just going to slam you. Because that's what they do. 16 versus your AC.
Nope.
So he slams into your shield. And he starts kind of
Like
like reaching and grabbing at your head with his slimy undead fingers. And Wacky, you can see this. This thing's like kind of leaning into Pyro and grabbing at his face.
Same as always.
You pop it twice. I guess you do. You're not really sure if you hit it or not. The zombie's not really sure either, but I guess they connected.
You don't want to kill Seal. You just
The
want
hit the hit registry tonight is like really bad because, like, you know, I'm having so much lag on my stream and everything. Like the hit detection's not working properly. You're pretty sure though those hit it, but it didn't. Look, why did not kill it? What the
Didn't
fuck?
seem to do much.
Sokka tries the same thing. That time, that's a miss. So it takes a 2 to miss a zombie. That's good to know. So she gets 1 hit on it for...
She doesn't have a +6 to attack.
No, that's enough to fell it. She just kind of hits it right between the shoulder blades. But it kind of starts to fall and catches itself. It staggers back up to its feet. Jez.
I'll reposition and
Swing
I'll
for the
swing
fences.
at it. And I'll trip it.
Okie dokie.
I mean, it's gonna trip if it's dead.
So, yeah, it did.
That way I do 19 damage to make sure it's dead.
Well,
Goes out.
the radiance makes sure it's dead anyways.
Oh, yeah, true.
I'm gonna shove it off my shield and be like, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So yeah, Jez comes along, cuts the bottom half off, so it gets a lot lighter. You're like, oh, it doesn't weigh so much anymore, and you're able to just slough it off pretty effortlessly.
I'm like, plan working exactly as we thought it would.
Sorta.
That was great. Call over, and I'll make my way down to them.
So, you notice now that you've had sort of some time to get acquainted with them, that there seems to be a small, like, blue triangle drawn on the foreheads of all of these zombies.
Do I recognize that mark from anything?
You recognize it as a triangle.
What
Yeah,
is
but
off
like-
One
now?
of
Is
no,
it like a famous necromancer or something?
no, it doesn't ring a bell to anything that you think you've ever seen before.
Was it on their foreheads?
Yep.
Make a note of that. Well, Jafar, since you wanted that shiny thing so much, why don't you go check it out?
Yes, let us go check out this T-Rex's stomach.
Okay. So you get there. This thing's just a big old full-grown T-Rex.
They're like, glad you didn't have to race that thing, huh, Jez? Huh, Cass? Huh?
So you can see that like parts of it have kind of looked like they've been chewed on, like by zombies or by something, and it's got some flesh and bits of like pieces of it missing. There's parts where you can see like bone exposed and that, and the skin all looks just like all rotten. Like this thing is clearly, and it stinks probably pretty good. It has
So-
clearly been here for a long time. Or
Fire, where did you see it?
Where did I see it, Zepic?
so you can kind of see like a small hole Like there's probably like a little bit of a gap maybe between a couple of ribs that you might have caught the glint from. You would imagine you would probably have to either go in and get it or spend a good few hours digging this like monstrosity apart.
Ooh, count me out. I ain't going in there.
I was just gonna cut it open like a tauntaun.
Yeah, that's what we could do. We just like slice it open.
I thought it would have been easier to slice it open like a tauntaun.
Well,
I'm standing pretty far away. I
there's a
feel like.
lot of muscle and bone and that
Yeah.
in there. It's like you could like spend the time to cut this thing open, but it's going to eat a bunch of progress out of your day. Like it's going to take you a good couple hours to just carve this thing apart, just because it's so much meat.
I want to look at. So you're saying I can either like reach in and grab it,
No,
or like
climb.
Oh, you can climb in and grab it. Because there's one very easy access tunnel into its stomach, and then you just climb in through the mouth and past the gums, and look out, tummy, here you come.
Just because I'm worried about it getting up, stab into its head first and see if it reacts.
Give me an attack roll with advantage.
because it
Shit.
is prone.
Well, no,
And it's also sleeping.
it's just it's just a thing lying there, so he gets advantage.
Wow.
So you plunge your radiant sword into this thing's head,
Any
and
reaction?
it lets out an enormous roar of
Damn
pain
it.
No.
and thrashes about.
Good thing I didn't climb in. Because that
So-
was my next move.
How is it alive?
It was
Well,
zombie.
alive is kind of a.
The zombie T-Rex.
So
When
So this thing
two ways to
is
be
going to
made
make
zombie.
a couple of attacks. So Jez, you get smacked by its head as it thrashes about, and Pyro, you get walloped by its tail. Jez, you're going to take. I'll just do the tail damage for both because teeth damage does not make sense. You didn't get bitten. You just kind of got like this thing thrashed around in such violent pain from the radiance. It really did not appreciate that. Jez, you're going to take 14 points of damage. Pyro, you're going to take 21 points of damage.
-3.
-3.
Okay.
As this thing stumbles to its feet and roll initiative.
Jesus Christ. I'm glad that I'm standing away from it.
nice small number.
So,
It knocked the wind out of me or something.
yeah. I feel like despite the fact that you were stabbing it as a preventative means, you feel like part of you didn't really expect it to actually do anything. It's
Nope.
like, guys, I'm just going to be preventative. Ha! And then the thing went nuts.
I did not want to get
Head
into
came
it
flying
without
at
it
you,
being-
tail went flying at Pyro.
I didn't want to get into it, and then this happened.
I don't know. That seems like it would have been way more fun.
It would've been less fun for
Tyrannosaurus
him because
zombie
I'd be in there with him.
rolled. Actually, he rolled that. He rolled a 0. He rolled a
Ouch.
2, -2.
Someone rolled.
He rolled
than
a
me.
0. I gotta re-roll for Azaka. Oh, she's going first. 21. Or
21?
21 or 22. I don't remember what her modifier was, but either way, she's going first. Oh, I gave that to
You
Wacky.
gave it to me.
What was yours, Wacky?
19.
19.
I got it.
Okay. Clicked on the wrong thing. Bwamp. Okay, so Zaka calls out to you guys like as you guys are getting walloped to look out, but it's like way too late.
Thanks,
Like-
Zaka.
So instead she just like while you guys were dicking around with that thing, she went collected all of her arrows. And she's gonna use a couple of those arrows to fire at the zombie. One
Doing
hit,
a
one
lucky
crit
root.
fail. So she fires one arrow like and it goes right into that hole in the rib cage that Pyro had seen. So that arrow just disappears. just phew, and it's gone.
We'll get that when we get the treasure.
The other arrow definitely is going to hit it. Do you ever roll... Jez, roll me your extra damage for your...
The D8.
Yeah, the
D8?
thing for hitting an undead.
Oh,
Because I got it right.
I just type it. I don't really have a thing for it.
Yeah, no, I just mean, like... Because you did hit it, though, and it is an undead,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you get your extra...
I thought you were doing this for her. I'm like, what? Okay, sure.
No, I want your extra damage. You did 11 to it, and she did 10 points of damage with her arrow. Okay. Wacky, it is your turn. I don't know how close. We'll say you're within 30 feet of it. I don't think
Yeah.
you...
I wasn't.
You're basically probably
next to
at
it.
like the outskirts of the... I said there was like a 25-foot ring of like clear terrain
Clear
around it. So you're probably at like the outskirts of that.
Here's something I haven't done in a while.
Fight an undead T-Rex?
Well, I mean, yes, but
Tell it. It sucks.
yeah,
You're dead.
this-
Why are you walking?
this thing makes the other things look nice.
Doesn't have to understand languages.
No, I just... Yeah, I know. I was just seeing if it had a thing to get around that, but it does not. Yeah. Okay, that is successful. I'm just going to draw a sad face beside its health.
That's all I'll do for now.
Pyro!
I will hit the undead T-Rex.
Okay.
We'll
There's a crit
roll
fail.
1d8.
Yeah, so that is definitely a hit.
Ugh.
The thing does not look like... I mean, it's not armored or anything, and a lot of its tough skin has kind of sloughed off. So it's not
Hey,
particularly
that's better.
tough. So 8 and 20. Oh my god, all this math I've got to do now. The math. All right.
Next
Jez.
we calculate how much damage the monster's taken. Okay, so I'm gonna try swing for its leg. If that hits, it's gonna be a trip attack. No, that's not gonna hit probably.
That is actually gonna hit.
Okay,
Jesus.
it's gonna be a trip attack.
Yeah, that's a super pass. It has strength for days.
Well, that's good.
I'm still.
Well, I mean, it's a Tyrannosaurus.
Well, I don't.
Of course it
I don't-
does.
I don't expect it to not. I just don't really have any way to attack a different stat.
So would you do
so-
11? Okay.
13 because of the plus 1d8.
Oh, for some reason I added that all up as 11. My bad.
And second attack,
It's a hit.
another trip attack.
I think its AC is garbage.
It's got no skin. It's got no tough dino skin.
And that'd probably do it.
That's another 20 damage, and DC 15 strength save.
Yeah, it's saved. It has
Did
to
you
roll
even
extremely.
it this time?
Hmm?
Yeah,
No, I roll it. It's possible for it to fail it. It's not very likely, but it is possible.
I got a second wind to get some of my healing back, and then I'm gonna action surge, and I'm just gonna keep wailing at that leg. It's gonna
Okay.
go down. I only can wail at it one more time.
Ooh.
That's a hit.
Ooh.
And it rolls a 27 to save, so...
Big
Last
damage,
attack.
though.
Do.
Oh, that math.
So, you keep swinging away at it. You keep slicing through it, hacking bits and pieces of it off, as bits of undead Tyrannosaurus go flying off into like all sorts of parts of the jungle.
I get to the bone, it's like, God damn it, I can't get to the leg.
So,
Well, you tried.
yeah, it's like you cut like so many of the muscles and flesh off of like one of the legs trying to trip it, but now there's just like a big thick bone like holding the leg together, and that's it. But it still seems to be walking on it just fine. It's so the first thing it does is it starts to kind of shudder, and you see its back kind of start like popping into the air, and it lowers its head, and you hear it kind of like gagging and hacking. It starts to sound like a cat having a hairball.
Is it doing the back
Oh,
dance?
no.
Where it backwards up and down?
Like it's just and like after a few seconds, like a zombie kind of just gets coughed up out of the T-Rex's mouth. And it'll just go on the T-Rex's turn. That's the easy way. So it coughs up another zombie, similar looking to the ones that you just recently dispatched. I gotta roll to see how many more are inside it. Okay.
It's a birther.
After that, it is going to attempt to bite Jez. 21 versus AC.
That hits. With disadvantage?
With disadvantage?
Oh. Then yes, it will still hit then, because I rolled higher on my disadvantage.
Okay.
Cry.
Why does it have disadvantage?
Because of
Because I
Wacky's
used the
thing.
Oh.
I do not have enough D12s for this.
Oh no.
Enough D12s. Oh my god.
Christ.
Yeah. It doesn't do very many things well. The couple things that it does do well, it
It
does
does really
very
well.
well. Yes.
You were debated.
18, 29, 36 damage on the bite.
Fuck, dude.
So you're a medium or smaller creature, so you are also grappled.
Oh, I'm not getting out of that.
It is then going to make 2 tail attacks on Pyro. 19 versus AC.
That is the AC.
18 versus AC. So
I can reduce the other one to a definite miss.
okie dokie. Ba-bum-bum. So the zombie is going to go after Pyro, I guess. So zombie comes, throws itself on Pyro for a crit.
Am I technically in the air?
Not yet. Like, it's kind of chomped down on you, but you're still, like, at ground level. It hasn't lifted you up quite yet. The fuck does a zombie roll? Oh, D6s. Woo, boy! Max roll. 12 damage. Minus 3.
Yes.
So that is the T-Rex's turn. Sokka, not quite sure what to do now.
Go for the throat.
Guys, are you conscious?
Yeah,
Okay.
So,
barely. Good thing I healed.
Okay.
hold on.
Actually, I would have still been at 1, even if I didn't.
Okay. So, she's going to... You want her to go for the Tyrannosaurus or to try and get that zombie off of Pyro?
The Tyrannosaurus.
Okay. She'll fire 2 arrows at the Tyrannosaurus. One of them's a miss, one of them's a hit.
I can't really give her advice because I'm...
So, you see, like, an arrow go into its neck from, like, your vantage point, Jez. Doesn't seem to do a whole heck of a lot, but every little bit helps, right?
Yep.
That is her turn. She is at this point. She's also moved up. She's probably like a little bit behind. She's like in like the outskirts of like hiding in the grass, basically, like just popping shots off. She's not like 100 feet back like she was before. She has moved up closer to you guys. She's just not sticking her neck out. Wacky, it is your turn.
Oh boy. So I'm 30 feet away from the dinosaur and I guess Jez and Pyro.
Yep.
And it's not difficult terrain, is it?
No.
Okay, then I'll move 30 feet to get to Jez. I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds. Lovely. And on my bonus action, I'll use my fancy time stopper thing.
It's like no noise for everything until that.
Yeah.
You gotta use what you got, man. You gotta use what you got.
Only have had any fucking like damaging spells. I'll back off 20 feet and I'll fire 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Okay. So you fire off your Eldritch Blasts, and as they leave your hand, they just kind of hang in the air.
Bonus action, I'll heal Jez again. With Healing Word.
When they have advantage, 'cause she's time stopped.
Yeah.
Actually, wait,
It's harder
because
to tell.
They would have advantage. Yes, they would have advantage. It's not going to be an auto crit like a melee would be.
no. No crits.
So once time starts again, they get launched forward. So that doesn't probably look. Basically, just kind of looks like you cast like a couple of spells at the same time. Doesn't really look all that out of the ordinary. Jez probably doesn't even notice because he's a little bit distracted.
Looks like
It's same with Pyro.
like Zenyatta.
At least in Yada, yeah.
Oh, Overwatch reference.
I don't get that reference. I don't play Overwatch. Pyro. Got a zombie waggling around in your face. It's just kind of like munching on your arm, probably at the moment.
I don't know whether I should hit him or if I should heal in case the T-Rex hits me again. Like it might drop me. Actually. Oh, whatever. I'll hit the zombie in front of me.
Okay. The heck is the thing I'm looking for? Yeah, you definitely hit him. He is still alive. That's what I'm looking for.
Remember, you're a paladin.
The 12 is also a hit.
Remember who you are. Remember that shadow touch thing you had, Pyro?
Oh, yeah, I'll use that.
The best thing is, if I didn't attack this T-Rex, there's a chance that it could never have hit me.
No, there's also a chance that you'd be inside its belly right now.
Yep.
Okay. That's what I thought. So you, Pyro, do enough damage to kill the zombie, and it is dead.
And I will shadow touch.
Okay. Jez,
So am I restrained or grappled?
you are restrained.
Okay, so that makes things worse. I can still attack it normally, but I can't
You can you can attack it with disadvantage.
Oh yeah, that's what I
Even
mean.
with disadvantage, you might hit it.
Chance of that, but also the chance that it's just gonna.
You do know it
Gonna be
will
so
also have advantage on attacks against you as long
Yeah.
as you remain
Problem
restrained.
is, it seems pretty easy to get me back in here. To break out of it, is that can I? Do I have to
It'll
make
be
a strength?
athletics or acrobatics, but you have disadvantage on any dexterity checks or saving
Is he
throws
within
as
10
well.
feet of me?
And how many feet? 10 feet?
10 feet.
Yes.
Then he will have the
It's
plus
not a.
whatever
It's a
it
check.
is.
It's a check.
Oh,
Not a
right,
saving
saving
throw.
Yeah, dexterity. Oh no, you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So yeah, your check will be. Your dex check would be fine if you chose to use dex instead.
Jeez, it's gonna suck.
So athletics or acrobatics.
I could do a lot of damage, but I could also get eaten.
Yeah,
I
that's
will.
the worry, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to slip out, because otherwise, I'm gonna die. And it's on the wrong side.
Oh boy.
The 12 is not sufficient to squirm your way free. You start to, it's like, wait, I can get out of this. And you start turning and realize there's like a couple of big jagged tooths like just jammed into your thigh. And like, oh wait, no, if I keep twisting, I will leave my leg behind.
It totally.
I will just stay here.
Attack.
Until this grapple ends. Okay, yeah. So you feel the zombie Tyrannosaurus start to gag again,
Oh god.
but it doesn't seem to be able to cough up a zombie with you in its mouth, unfortunately. So it just bites down as hard as it can with advantage. It's a good thing I didn't roll a crit. I may have probably outright killed Jez. 23 versus AC is gonna hit.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell I did do with my 12s? There they are. 13, 14, 23, 30 piercing damage.
Okay.
And then 2 tail swipes on Pyro again. These have disadvantage, so the first one's going to miss. Second one's going to be a 25.
That'll hit.
What's tail attacks? D8s. I don't know what it is. I'm staring at a whole pile of dice, and I can't pick out what dice are what. Like,
Pyramid. Double pyramids.
it's like my brain's just like going numb. It's like those are D20s. Everything else, I don't know what those are. Those are just dice. You're going to take 16 bludgeoning damage, Pyro. Minus
And
3.
then that's. Do I minus you first, or do I?
Wow, 16. I always give you the full number, and you take 3 off that.
Yeah, so I minus that, and then what does the resistance to non-magical damage do? What does that mean?
That's half.
Oh, I thought you had disadvantage. So that first one is going to hit you. Did I? Hold on. Where's your character sheet? Because I don't remember. Did I say it was resistance?
You said
Or did I say it was disadvantage on attacks?
this. I'll just paste it in the chat.
That's probably the easiest way. 'Cause for some reason, once they activate this, becomes substantial, pertains damage for 1 minute. Resistance to non-magical attacks. Can't face through things. Okay. So, God, I don't remember off the top of my head what order you're supposed to do that in. I believe the resistance gets applied last, I think, doesn't it? You remember, Jez?
Quickly finding it.
I think
it's heavy
it's
armor first, but let me see.
yeah. You know what? I think you're right. I said what 16, so it'd be 13 halved. So you'd take 6 damage. That other one though becomes a hit because I rolled that with disadvantage, thinking you had
It
disadvantage.
becomes 6 total is the damage there?
Yeah.
Yeah, resistance and then vulnerability are applied after all other damages.
What was the
all
attack
other
roll?
modifiers to damage.
That would've
Attack
hit
roll,
Pyro.
it would have been a 29 versus AC.
Yeah, never mind.
So I rolled a nice big one, then I rolled a very small one. So the other attack, 13, 20, becomes 17, becomes 8. So you'll take a 6 and an 8, Pyro.
Are you still up?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm up.
His
So-
resistances go first, so it'd be 17 down to 14, then a 7.
Resistances go first?
Resistance go last.
Yeah, so yeah, it becomes
Minus
20.
3.
Yeah, I know. It was
Oh,
20 minus 3 is 17 divided by
Oh.
2.
Okay,
I'm at 8, but I am up.
I thought you said it was 17. My bad.
Well, no, I was 17 after I took the 3 off.
I wonder what Azaka thinks of all this.
You don't think she's probably ever tried to pick a fight with an undead Tyrannosaurus before? So the zombie's going to attack Pyro. That's a
Isn't he
20.
dead?
I thought it died.
Oh, it did die. My bad. Damn it.
It goes to attack Pyro, and then it realizes it's actually dead.
Yeah. And then it goes to attack Pyro, and as it hits him, it like just melts. And so Pyro begins to flinch as this thing comes out of nowhere attacking him, and then just falls into pieces as it like hits him. Azaka, she's gonna try and like dislocate this thing's jaw with a couple well placed arrows. That one's cocked. Definitely hits. That is enough to fell it.
Thank God.
So
I would have had a nice turn, because I wasn't going to try to jiggle it
So
again.
Jez, you feel the thing's jaw kind of release. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Do I still
Plus
have
2.
disadvantage?
No, you feel like for just a split second, this thing's jaw kind of let you go, and seizing your moment, you kind of dive out of like the inside of its mouth as the thing kind of shudders and stumbles back up to its feet. And Wacky, it is your turn.
Pyro, oh wait, we're not out of combat. Never mind then.
Christ. Okay.
It's a
what
zombie,
can I
so
do?
it can come back up.
Do you want me to heal? Do you want me to attack it?
I'm gonna Divine Smite next turn.
I would heal, because it's down, so technically it'd be harder for you to hit.
Who do I heal?
Well, no, it's back up on its feet. It basically like kind of went down and then
Oh.
climbed back up.
Oh, I thought you meant it was feigning death.
No, it actually died, and then
Okay.
undied.
Do whatever you want.
It seemed to do a lot
I'll
like
be
what those
fine.
zombies always seem to do.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, like I think we're gonna finish it off this turn. 'Cause,
Yeah,
Like I'm gonna
well-
go and then Divine Smite and then Jez
I'll
will
go to Pyro and
Radiance
heal.
it.
Heal. Why the hell is Bud Light playing Skyrim? The fuck? Does he run out of things to play?
He's probably definitely all those anime titties.
Yeah, but he could. So he went and modded Skyrim, put some anime titties in Skyrim.
Yep.
That's the way to play Skyrim. So that's Wacky. Pyro.
Guild.
I'm gonna Divine Smite
Oh, you got to attack
You
first.
get a hit first.
first. That
That's a hit.
1, 8. I will. Yeah, I'll just throw the Divine Smite out now.
So it is.
You get another D8 on top of that. 'cause
It
it's
is.
All right.
Yeah, it is impossible for it to make this DC. Oh, actually, it's not. It fails its DC.
What
What
DC
is
does it need to make?
A mysterious one that only the DM knows because it's written in the stat block.
Okay.
Does it have that?
I forgot
same-
that it has a bonus. I was like, there's no way that I can make this. Oh, wait, yeah, no, it's got a bonus to it.
Does it have the same vulnerability to the radiant damage?
Yep.
So it wouldn't have come up anyways because of the smite.
Well, I knew the I didn't even think about that because I knew the damage. All the extra D8s would be too much for it to heal through. So,
is it still up?
The Tyrannosaurus collapses into a heap, and you guys all study it for a second, and it doesn't seem to be moving. And then all of a sudden, it seems to be moving again. But all of it seems to be localized in its belly. And its belly kind of just rumbles, and then just splits open, and...
Oh, God.
All the zombies.
And 1d4 zombies come climbing out of its... 4 zombies come climbing out of its belly. Pyro, you still have an attack. These things are basically right up on you.
I'm just retching. This is disgusting.
I will use an attack.
Like, I named this episode Firefinger. We don't even get to Firefinger.
I don't think we will.
It's okay, next week I'll just call it Firefinger, probably this time.
Firefinger Part 2?
Firefinger, but not actually.
I'll just keep calling every
Maybe
episode that.
Firefinger?
It's like, God, like, I think we had that Firefinger place for so long. So yeah, you smack the zombie in the face. That is definitely a hit. I need to actually keep track of all these zombies now. Zombie 1, zombie 2, zombie 3, zombie 4. For 12.
I was gonna say, at least you don't have to worry about like deleting your initiative one anymore.
So Jez, got some zombies. They're probably about 5 to 10 feet from you at this point. You're up at the head.
Yeah.
Pyro was kind of right at like tail belly area.
I'll go up to the first one that's closest to me.
Are you gonna try and swing at the same one that Pyro was, or are you just trying to get like your side of the group?
I'd probably start with my side of the group because
they're the closest.
It would probably go down anyways.
Plus, this was probably a bit of unsettling of a. This has probably thrown all of your strategic planning for a loop.
So that is
12 will definitely hit.
16 damage.
Yep.
More than I did.
Still up.
Do it again.
Yes, I know you're a zombie cat. That's a hit, and that's enough for it to go down. And because of your radiance, it does not get back up.
Okay.
So zombies go. 2 of them are gonna swarm Pyro. The other one's just gonna go right for Jez. One on Jez is a crit. One on Pyro is a crit.
You have to roll to see if he can swing at me.
Oh yeah, because of your what's the thing for it?
The wisdom saving throw.
What's the DC?
I don't use it too often, so I'm gonna look. Just 13.
13? Oh, he makes it. So I rolled pretty high. I rolled a 17. I don't think he has a -4 to wisdom.
It is a zombie.
Yeah, it's intelligence that they're lacking, not wisdom so much.
They never survive.
Yeah, so 2 crits and a crit fail.
Fucking hell.
I really wanted a 3rd crit out of that. Man, back-to-back 20s feel good. The one on Jazz is going to be for... I'm actually better look up what this modifier is now.
5 damage.
5 damage.
Now I'm working overtime.
Doesn't matter what it was as long as it was above 4.
Oh, well, it was 5. The one on Pyro is 6.
Well, that's halved, and then -2 and then halved.
So 3 halved is 1, so you're gonna take 1 damage, Pyro.
Why couldn't I get that crit?
Because that crit
Are you still
crit was technically more damage.
Oh shit.
Azaka is going to
by 1.
Probably gonna fire. She's gonna fire an arrow into the one that was going after Jez first. That's gonna be a hit. Oh, yeah, the one that went after Jez is a fresh one. So it's going to take that much. Then she's just going to fire again. It's going to hit because I basically can't miss. She does not kill it. She peppers it with a couple of arrows as she kind of moves in a little bit closer to kind of help dissuade it. But yeah, this thing's kind of just sniffing at Jez's body at this point. Wacky.
Can I get over to Jez without getting hit?
Yeah, you could skirt along. I think you've been behind everybody essentially.
Yeah.
So you can kind of skirt along the back edge, like just kind of away from the zombies.
Okay. I'm going to cast Healing Word. Lovely. And I'll blast the zombie that was on him.
So Jez is conscious again. Zombie takes 2 damage. It's still up. Oh, you hit it twice. Okay, your first one takes it down, which is good because that makes its DC a lot harder. And it's going to stay down.
Thank God.
Enough from the peanut gallery down there. Pyro, it's your turn.
I will hit the one that I've already weakened. Oh.
Yep. Yep, that's a hit.
777. Another jackpot.
It stays down. It is dead. You got one more zombie on you.
That second zombie.
Another
That's
7.
a hit.
And a 1.
That's like a
one more
7. Without
There's
long.
Yeah.
There's one zombie left. It is in Pyro's face. Jez, you are awake, and you're lying on the forest floor.
I'll stand up and be like, "Where'd that zombie go?"
Yeah, you're looking around for it, and you see that it's dead at your feet.
I got it.
It's got some arrows sticking out of it.
I'm gonna lunge for the one that's after Pyro right now.
Yep. You lunge. Let's see if your other damage is enough to fell it. It is, and it's radiant, so it's dead. So you kill the last zombie, and you all just kind of stop and you wait, as you expect a whole bunch of smaller zombies to begin erupting from the stomachs of the other ones.
Chicken zombies. Or compies, actually, to make more sense of the setting. Compy zombies would be the worst.
They're like Marestrika dolls. Like there's zombies inside of zombies inside of zombies. And after a few minutes of tense waiting, you seem to be out of zombies.
I just go to the side, like pull my scarf up over my face because I can't fucking stand this stench. You guys have your fun.
Has the stomach been blown enough that we can just reach in and grab the silver?
Well, you could climb in.
God.
I mean,
No.
you can't really reach in because it's still a very big animal. Was it huge? Yeah, it's huge. This thing's tens of feet tall when it's like standing up. So I mean, this thing.
I'll go to
climb
Jez.
in. I'll climb in.
No, it's
because-
okay. Hang on.
Because
Go to
I'm
Jez.
easier to clean.
And I'm gonna like put my hand on your shoulder and like give you 15 health from like lay on hands, and then I'm gonna ask you, will prestidigitation clean this stuff?
That's what I can't clean it now.
I'm asking, like, if I
Clean
climb
it.
in, will it clean it off me and remain on me afterwards, or will it be fine?
I'd rather do it because I'm smaller, so I have to clean less. I might be trying to clean you for about an hour.
Okay,
So-
I will give you a boost.
I call over from where I am. Just don't die. Just don't die because I'm not coming back over there.
So
I
you
give him 15. I'll give myself 15.
climb inside, Jez, and inside the belly, you find a partially digested adventurer, or perhaps just like an explorer, or you're not entirely sure. The shiny thing that Pyro seemed to see is roll a percentile dice.
It's a bag of holding.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
wouldn't be shiny.
One of the buckles might be shiny.
61.
So
That's
you
better than this.
you see still clutched in the kind of half decayed, kind of broken like hand of the dead person inside this Tyrannosaurus belly is a gold nugget about the size of a dwarf's fist. You imagine that this chunk of gold is probably worth about 50 gold.
Fuck this.
I'll climb out with the gold nugget, and I'll chuck him the gold nugget.
Look. What's the thing to catch? Like,
Dexterity.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It's just like right between his hands. And it just lands with a hard, loud thunk on like the forest floor.
Here's how well I threw it. So that...
This fist-sized gold nugget.
I yell over when I hear this. Like, was it worth it?
Oh, that was a good throw too.
Just
Hold on,
completely whiffed on the catch.
I'm gonna spend the next like 30 minutes cleaning myself.
Yep.
We spent all this time getting this thing, and you just throw it on the ground?
We were like,
It doesn't seem to be damaged at all from landing on the ground, so that's good. Seems pretty tough. Seems
Wow.
about as tough as a giant chunk of gold would be.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to mess up a giant chunk of gold.
guess we can just add it to like the monetary pile.
Well, it's something that we'd have to.
If you're gonna spend 30 minutes cleaning yourself, I guess we're gonna try to short rest.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah,
I guess so.
So, your guide kind of recommends like pushing on for a little while first, as she doesn't really want to.
Yeah, I like
Like
that
you
idea.
guys stink bad enough. She doesn't really want to like just hang out by the zombie pile, especially in case it attracts other zombies. Since
We'll push on a bit.
you guys were not too far away.
On the plus side, they might not be able to smell me right now.
So,
I'm just walking far away from Cass.
I'll lug the gold around, I guess.
so
I'm
you
glad
guys,
it's worth it.
you guys make it to sort of your destination. Like the end of the day, you kind of make to where you're going to be making camp for the night. The rains do not sort of they don't start up again any more than like a trickle.
Did we come across any streams or anything like that on the way?
No. Actually, you know what? Give me your survival checks to forage for food, and I'll kind of determine from that. More than likely, no, you're not going to find much.
Yeah. Really?
So,
Why did I roll the best?
Yeah, right?
so yeah, you guys don't really find much for food. You don't really find any source of water whatsoever. So the fact that you guys couldn't get your full 2 gallons, and I need everybody to give me Constitution checks or saving throws. What did I say they were?
I think they're saving.
I think they're saving throws.
Let's do. Oh shit.
Yeah, Pyros is with disadvantage.
Feels
Well,
bad,
it's a 10.
man.
It's a 10.
Pyro have the thing that gives us bonuses to saving throws.
Yeah, that's the +2. So you guys
Okay,
are
yeah, you have
13.
a +2. Alright.
So Jez fails, Pyro fails, and Wacky fails,
Lovely.
and
Oh, I thought you said it was 10.
oh, I never
Mine
said it.
is
I
10.
never said it was 10. I think Pyro
said
said
10.
his was
Oh,
10
you're
total.
saying your roll was 10. Probably have to get like a 15 or so.
So Azaka also fails. So
Jesus.
after your long fight with the Tyrannosaurus and the lack of food and water, you all have suffered 1 level of exhaustion.
And we get rid of that by long resting, right?
Long resting after getting your fill.
Yeah, so it's going to continue into the next day.
Ouch.
Since this is kind of... Like, this should technically almost be, like, at the start of the day, because, like, you didn't eat and drink enough. Otherwise, it would just go away as soon as you go to sleep. Where would the
You know
fun
what the worst
not
part
be?
is? The first level of exhaustion makes your checks have disadvantage.
Fuck.
Indeed.
I mean, would that
Indeed it
even
does.
out my survival check at the start of the day? Since
It
I
would
had
just be a
advantage?
normal.
Okay.
So, next day crops up.
We had to dig into our rations.
You don't necessarily have to yet. Like the way, considering how long it takes you to starve, like if you wanted to, you could probably push it to see if you find any food like the next day. Like if you did not scrounge up some food tonight, you definitely would have to like dig into your rations. But...
Yeah.
Alright.
So we'd be
So-
on the lookout for any water along our way.
Yeah, you do.
Now
You
let
do
me
remember
get the
seeing on the
check.
map like a big river. You could have.
Yeah. So I'd suggest we steer towards that river.
So, you guys start to push on into the woods.
That's a fail. 11.
Mhm. It was like 15 or 16.
All right.
So, as you set out, you guys kind of like, one of you, probably Azaka, kind of like pops up a tree and gets a good look at things. She says, it looks like it's going to, like, it looks like it might rain this afternoon. Like, she sees some clouds kind of rolling in, but it does, she's not sure how much. Like, it could just be like another light drizzle, but there is some clouds heading your way.
If it starts raining hard, it might be best to just stop moving for the day and
So-
collect water.
So you guys gotta go to the GM layer. So again, you end up having a pretty easy morning. About
Easy, like Sunday morning.
about mid-afternoon, probably like lunchtime
We're all
ish.
full health and stuff, by the way. Don't forget that.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Well, I didn't take damage.
Ooh la dee da.
Spells, though.
So, partway through the day, it's lunchtime, a little after what would be lunchtime. Pyro, or you know what? All of you give me perception checks. We'll see who spots it. Whoever gets the best Pyro gets the best perception check. Gets the pleasure of being the person who saw it. So
Wow.
Jez notices sees kind of a glint of something up in a tree, and you see, with your 18, you see what looks to be a body, like the body of like an adventurer or something like that. Like you see a person's body and the glint of something, some kind of equipment or something like that, about 30 feet. Probably a bit more. 40 feet or so above you, up in like the top of the jungle canopy, like way up in this tree. Like perhaps he had been dropped by some creature, or he had climbed up the tree to try to escape something on the ground, and
There's also a chance he might have water.
so you see that.
Enchant?
So we should probably get him down. How far up is the tree?
I'm gonna say 40 feet.
Well, I ain't climbing up there.
Well, I
can't.
was gonna ask our resident climby person to climb up there if he wants to.
What,
Does that mean?
What do you mean, Azaka?
No, it's
You
you.
said he. I thought it was.
Okay, that's
I was like,
it-
wait. You said
It's you,
he.
Pyro.
You want me to play you a
Because-
song before you go up there?
That will
The Song
let me
of Climbing?
normalize My checks.
No, I'm giving you inspiration.
You've got this. Just don't hit the weak branches.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? It's not like you ran out of songs.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, she does.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Eventually.
per day, but
Play something on my lyre.
okay. You play him the Song of Climbing to fill him full of all sorts of inspiring climbing stories about all these people in history who climbed things and got exactly what they wanted. Um,
Man who could climb anything.
What kind of checks am I making?
so you're going to
Athletics.
you're going to be making some athletics checks with disadvantage because you were exhausted.
Okay, here we go.
Did I have a claiming DC?
Off to a great start.
So,
Is that? just
yeah,
like
you
I
get
know
about
it's
5 feet up the tree and you just kind of slide right back down it. And you just kind of look around and like sort of spit on your hands and it's like, yeah, no, it's just testing it. Just checking to make sure the tree is stable. Make sure it's
Whatever you say,
making
buddy.
sure it's not going to fall over.
Whatever you say, buddy.
Alright, try again. There we go.
That's a better start.
So you start climbing. You get about halfway up the tree. So you're you're hanging off like a big heavy branch, about 20 feet up the tree. So give me another one.
Think about your inspiration.
Yeah, do I need it right now? I think I need it. in
You
case.
do
You
feel
would make the choice before he tells
Yeah.
you to fail.
Yeah, I'll use it.
I feel
The
like you need it.
1d4
1d8.
that I can just do.
I still could end up badly.
And before a 1.
is anybody
Mediocre.
like waiting below to catch him? Just so I know.
I can't. He would kill me if he fell on me.
Kill all
Well,
of you.
Cass can't.
Azaka could probably catch him.
Yeah,
Not that she
I
would, but
could.
It's an 18, so
Well-
I'm fine.
no, it's a
Mia?
14 because you have disadvantage.
Oh, fuck.
Me and
me.
Azaka can be like
I forgot it was disadvantage.
arm cradling somehow, even
So
despite
you
huge
just
height difference.
you kind of slip and like you manage to just kind of scrape by like your fingernails to the top of this tree, kicking branches off and like snapping tree limbs off all the way. You figure you're probably gonna have a bit of a rougher time down since you've kind of like wrecked half of the stuff you used to get up here, but you have made it. So you get to the top of the tree, or as high as you need to, and you're at a part of the tree where it sort of branches off like a Y, like the main part of the trunk. This body seems to be just kind of propped up in the crook of the Y. Like looks like where they've tried to rest. It doesn't look unnaturally slumped or anything, so you don't imagine it was probably dropped here, that it must have climbed up of its own accord. There seems to be just chunks of it kind of missing. You also notice about 10 feet away in the sort of in the leaves and in sort of the fronds of the tree, there seems to be a furry animal staring at you. Kind of looks like an angry koala.
Oh no.
This'll be that thing Azaka told us about.
Yep.
Where'd
How
you go?
far away is
Where did
the
you-
dude from me?
Oh, he's about 10 feet from you.
No, I meant.
Oh, no, he's not that
the
big.
person.
He's small, so yeah, he's probably only about 3 feet tall, give or take. Like the size of a gnome.
No, I mean like the person in the nook of
Oh, the person,
body.
like the person's like, you're like right there at the body.
Oh, okay.
But
So
like,
that thing is 10 feet away from me.
yep, and it's just sort of fixated on you.
Does it look like it's gonna attack me?
Give me a medicine check.
Jesus.
So you just kind of take a quick, like, cursory glance at your dead friend up here, and the little chunks in that seem to be like ripped off of them seem about the same size as the mouth on the little furry creature in the tree that's staring at you.
Can I tie myself to the tree?
What?
I suppose you could. If you wanted to, you could take an action to like.
I was gonna throw up my grappling hook, but now this is complicating matters.
Okay, so I'm guessing you pull out some rope and start like wrapping it around yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like secure myself so if I do slip, I don't fall particularly far.
So as you are doing this, it starts kind of slowly, kind of sniffing and like creeping towards you. It is now probably about a cup. By the time you get yourself tied off to the tree, it's basically like kind of right up in your face, and he seems to be kind of sniffing at you.
Why are you tying yourself to a tree?
Just in case. I don't know. I don't know how big is this branch that I'm standing on?
No,
Oh,
I'm
pretty-
character asking you why you're tying yourself to a tree.
The branch.
In case I slip.
The branch is probably a good like foot and a half or so around. Like you're not so much on a branch anymore. You're like the tree kind of goes up and then becomes a Y. So you're on like a good thick part of the trunk. So you got lots of. There's no danger of this thing breaking or cracking.
Throw up
So
my grappling
it's probably a
hook,
good
throw his
couple
body
of
down.
feet. It's probably a good couple of feet around, in diameter, like where you are right now. And this kind of like mangy, koala-y thing just seems to be like sniffing at you.
Do we see it? Or
You give me perception checks.
I sure don't.
No.
Neither of us do apparently.
You know, way up. Pyro's way up in the canopy at this point. So yeah, you don't really.
I'm lucky.
You kind of have a general idea where he is, but other than that, you're not sure what's going on.
So this thing ate him, but like, what did Azaka say about these koala things?
She said to watch out for them. She warned you that like they lurk in trees, and that they were dangerous. You guys didn't really like in.
That we picked up.
Yeah. They said Zorbos like to hang out in those trees.
Yeah, she
They
basically.
like to hang out. I don't know if she said they like to eat them.
No, they like to eat the people that go to them.
You do know that it's a Zorbo. That's what its name is. It's a Zorbo.
Kevin Zorbo. The white
What would I do if I wanted it to like peacefully back away? Like animal handling, I guess.
Yeah. You could
I
give me
don't know what this is gonna do, but nope.
So you kind of make some strange gesture, and it
Shoot.
kind of takes it as a threat, and it kind of like squeals and it slashes at you. That's going to be a 21 versus AC.
Jeez.
I can't see it, so I can't help that.
Well, you heard it squeal.
Yeah,
I
but
heard
she can't even see this thing. She just probably assumes that you've like found a like baby brontosaurus in the tree and you're killing it just like you wanted to. So you're gonna take
What are you doing?
six slashing damage. Are you wearing armor, carrying a shield, or in possession of a magic item that improves your AC? Sure, you are.
Yes.
I
One
need
of
you
those.
choose. Actually, that's not. It's going to have. I don't think you would have been able to get your shield up in time, so I'm going to say your armor. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
And this is plus to whoa. Shit.
So it
I don't know,
slashes
plus two
at
that
you.
Makes a difference, does it?
The what?
The plus two.
No, not a
No.
three.
No. So you feel like it slashes at you, and its claws just kind of tear and hack through your chainmail to the point where you kind of instantly realize that your chainmail may never be the same again, and that it doesn't offer quite as much protection anymore as it used to.
Christ.
So it effectively has now permanently lowered your chainmail by 1 AC.
It's a rust monster.
Kind of. It has now like damaged your armor beyond repair. Roll initiative.
Well,
Do
this
we
way?
have to?
No.
Pyro probably would have screamed as this thing clawed him, like in pain,
Okay.
enough that you guys probably would be like, that's the trouble sound. You don't know
sound
what's
of someone
going on,
dying.
but you hear trouble. Oh, I didn't. I should almost give Azaka a fucking token just to make my life easier. Azaka's gonna roll 12. Zorbo is going to roll a 15. Oh no, that's wrong. 13. Looked at the wrong number. Azaka's got a 12. What? Jez. So it sounds like something attacked Pyro in the tree.
I can't see anything up there except vaguely Pyro.
You could give me another perception check to see what you can see.
I'm probably never gonna see it.
Yeah, you get some glimpses of some kind of little. Almost looks like a small, tiny bear. Like there seems to be like an overgrown teddy bear attacking Pyro up in the tree. Or some kind of koala-looking thing.
If I trip it, will it fall?
How will you trip it?
I probably can't trip it because I can't really get at its feet.
It's 40 feet above you.
I would shoot it with a bow.
Yeah.
You can still try
you-
to trip it with range attacks.
Yeah, but I can't.
To
Logically,
be
I
fair,
think-
like the
Yeah.
top half of them is gonna be like the only thing you're gonna really see is like the head poking out.
Yeah.
Like it's got superior cover from you at this point between the fronds and the fact it's like on the part of the tree.
Yeah, and I don't really have any way to get up there easily.
So you should have switched characters with the Lodge. Then you could just spider climb up there. You just sprint up the thing.
If Loaj is here, we could have just sent him to do this bullshit.
Yeah, we could have.
He would have got eaten by the koala.
So it's 45 feet up, right?
40.
40.
40 feet up. Either way, I gotta do something no one's
Oh,
done in this game before. Can I cast web just outside of Pyro?
Sure.
The web all up that Zorbo.
Um,
Oh
I
my
don't know if I ever-
god. We're actually
I don't know if I
using
ever
it.
got the DC from him, but I think it's like something simple.
it would have been pretty low. I'm going to say, I'll say 14.
I'll make a new.
15 is kind of the regular median for magic items, but this is a lesser magic item.
Yeah.
So it would have been a bit smaller, so let's call it 14. Because if he didn't write it down, I don't remember it offhand.
Well, it would be in his inventory anyways. I wouldn't be able to see it.
Well, I mean, I could pull up his inventory and
Oh,
look,
wait.
but I doubt he would have.
I got a DC 15 in my inventory, but I don't know where I got it from.
Well, I could just look. Let's see. Because if I did tell him 15, then we will go with 15. I just... Vidania?
I might have copied down wrong as well.
Weapons? Is it in his spell book?
Probably didn't write it
Inventory?
down. You probably didn't write it down.
Probably didn't write it down. Yeah. He didn't write it down at all.
Even in his
That's
inventory.
nowhere in any of his inventory
I'll
whatsoever.
bring it down to 14 in my notes.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Multiple pages. Nope.
There was a moment
Oh.
of hope.
There's another page. Dream pies. Holly symbol. What's
You
a
would have got
holly
it way before
symbol?
that stuff.
Holly
Oh,
simple.
A holly symbol. It's an extra L. Nope.
She's a library.
That's fine.
So 14. Anyway, I was looking up. Web's a cube, right? Yeah, 20-foot cube. So yeah, you can, like, you have a good idea of where this thing is. You could essentially web everything that's not pyro. Like, just put it
Including
right
the
just
body.
outside of Pyro's body. I will allow that. Does he... No, it's at the start of his turn, I believe, right? So he gets gooed. Each creature starts its turn in the webs or then enters them during its turn. So we will handle that in a minute. Wacky.
Guess I'll make my perception check to see if I. Well, actually, since you webbed it.
Fireball it.
Yeah, I wish. I'll get to level 7 one day. If I attack it, will it have cover?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It definitely has cover.
And
Once you're able to see it, you would... If you could see it, you would know it has cover. You will have to make a perception check to try and find it.
yeah,
It'll be a
I'll do
little
that
bit
right
easier now that Jez has probably pointed it out. Yeah, you
Theirs is
know it.
19.
You know it's there.
That's a 14.
I'm actually gonna
Yes,
roll a
14.
Zaka's just now, so I don't have to worry about it on my turn.
I mean, I could try to attack it. Could also mock it. Good.
Neither of those hit.
Shocked.
It has wood for AC right now, so it has got a higher AC than that. Depending on what it touches or is standing on, it has different ACs as it absorbs it as a natural armor.
Jesus. Okay.
Absorb the web. Absorb the web.
These are pretty cool for like a little.
Well, I can't do much. Like, maybe I could yell at it next turn. Jafar.
Okay.
In a
So
minute, I'll yell at it.
it's going to attempt to claw Pyro again.
Is it restrained though?
Good point. Is it restrained? Oh, it is restrained. For some reason, I thought it was like the webs. First roll for, is it Dex? Dexterity saving throw. DC 14. It fails. It is restrained by the web.
It did something.
We haven't used that since.
Ever.
When was the last time you used
It
it?
is a. How intelligent is it? It's not intelligent at all. It's just an animal. It is going to not attack Pyro then. It is going to try and struggle free from the web. Strength check. It just manages to pull and claw itself free of the web. And that is going to be the end of its turn. Azaka.
Darn, we were all gonna have advantage against him.
Azaka now sees where it is. She's going to fire a couple of arrows up into the sky. One of them just whizzes by Pyro's head. Like it's a mile off target. The other one definitely hits him.
Maybe we could eat this thing.
Maybe. I mean, it's categorized as a monstrosity. I don't know how well it would taste. How well it would taste. How good it would taste. So 10. He hits it for 10 damage. Wow, like everything tonight has had Z for its name. 10 damage.
Well, not the
So
T-Rex.
she's
Zombie T-Rex.
the zombie T-Rex. So she spikes it with an arrow, and it kind of screams out angrily and kind of claws around. Pyro, it is your turn.
I will hit it. Yeah. Doesn't happen to be undead, does it?
Nope. The 16 is a hit, though.
It's 10.
Nope. So you do hit it for
Divine
6.
smite the Zorbo.
So you
I mean,
slice it.
smite
Well, that's really all I can do. I'm assuming it's like between me and the dude by now, right?
Well, yeah, it's kind of trapped you at this point. It's now like you're like right up against the dude, and it's like right in front of you, and then everything beyond it is just a giant mass of sticky web. So you are kind of pinned in at this point. There's not really anywhere for you to go except down. You could go down.
I am tied
Very.
to the rope.
You could go down very quickly. as in just drop. It would also get a slash at you, but Jez.
I mean, so I can tell that it's no longer in the web.
Yep. Like you've got an eye on this thing now, so you're able to kind of see it. And yeah, it seems to have like clawed its way out of your web.
Wow. I can stop concentrating on something if I notice my friend going towards the web, right?
Yeah.
Instead, I will pull out my bow. Because I'm not getting up there.
Not with that attitude.
And shoot the Zorbo. Shoot Kevin Zorbo.
Not Kevin
Pretty
Sorbo. You nail it with your bow. You have a +4 to hit, or +4 damage.
Yeah.
Oh,
'cause
I
got
get. Oh, you have 18 dex. That's a lot of dex.
I only put 2 points into it, and that's the only time I put points into it.
Yeah. So you nail it, and it squeals out in pain.
Man.
You
Might
shoot
not.
it again, and you see it kind of fall out of the tree, hitting a few branches on its way down, and then just kind of like land in a heap on the forest floor. Jungle floor. I gotta stop calling it a forest. It's not a forest.
I killed a teddy bear.
You killed a
Good.
teddy bear.
You sure did, Cass.
It might not be dead.
Yeah, it looks pretty dead. One of its legs is like bent, like
There's
awkwardly, like
arrows all
behind
over
and
it.
over its head, and
Yeah. So I'll stop the web so that Pyro can get at the body.
get.
I will lump the body over my shoulder. Do I want
I
to
got a
just,
better idea.
throw him down?
I got a better idea. I'm gonna throw up a grappling hook,
Okay.
and you catch it, hook it to the body, or well, throw it over a branch, hook it onto the body, and you can lower the body down.
I thought you guys were just going up to loot the body.
I mean,
I didn't think you were gonna take the body with you.
I suppose you could just loot it and then come down.
I could do that too, I guess. So yeah, I'll loot
Like
him.
it does. It looks kind of devoured in that. I mean, if one of you knew how to raise dead and you weren't in this whole soulmonger situation, you could maybe bring it back to life. But
I mean,
Oh, it's half eaten. Don't bring it down, please. We had enough of that yesterday.
instead, can I? Wait, I don't have my own rope. Can I borrow your rope?
Yep. Go ahead.
So I want to knot it up a bit, and then attach it to the grappling hook.
well, Pyro's already got like a rope tied.
No,
Like-
this is so that he can get down.
Well, yeah, he's got him. I imagine he's got rope tied around his waist and then it tied around the tree. But he could just untie it from his waist and then climb down.
Well, I think I could just throw this rope over. He could climb down the rope, and then we pull the rope away. Otherwise, we're leaving the rope up there.
Yeah, that's true.
He could also attempt to climb down the branches. Could
But
also
I
loot.
will not.
Could also loot the body.
Yes,
That's what we
I'm,
should do.
I'm looting the body.
Okay, give me a percentile. So give me a D100.
Roll a 76.
26. That was nearly
Um,
there.
I already said you saw a glint of something, so roll again.
Oh,
That puts
that
it
was a-
firmly in the none category. Roll again.
That's
Keep,
like
keep
less
rolling
than
till you clear 50. We
Roll
could
a
be
70.
here a while.
Pyro.
You know what? Roll 20 really wants you guys to have
Do you want me
nothing.
to roll it?
There we
There
go.
we go.
There we go.
I don't know how you manage.
I don't
that
actually
many
know what.
times.
That's one of the few things I actually have to look up, because even I don't actually know what that is off the top of my head.
Oh, Pyro. At least you're getting them all out of the way.
So, you find a glass jar 3 inches in diameter. And inside is some kind of a thick mixture. When you kind of like pull the stopper on it, it's got kind of a faint aloe scent to it.
Okay. Is there anything else on him?
Nope.
No
Nothing.
water.
Nothing of value, anyways.
Okay. I will untie my rope and wait for Jez's grappling hook to come up. Use that to climb down.
Might
I'll
take
say
a while.
your paladin-y sort of senses tell you there's something almost magical about the stuff. You imagine it's some kind of a potion, or like except it seems like really thick, almost like an ointment.
I will investigate
Sounds-
it further when I'm down from this tree.
Okay, so what's your plan on getting down from the tree?
So, my plan is to throw a rope up with the grappling hook.
Why don't we get
And-
Azaka to throw it for us? Probably has a better chance of doing it than neither of us.
It's also just a rope. And so you could put it so that the grappling hook would fall to the ground if you weren't pulling on it. If that makes any sense to you?
Fall to the ground if I'm not
Like,
pulling.
put the grappling hook so it's like that,
Uh-huh.
and then when you let go of the rope, the weight of the grappling hook pulls it down.
Ah. I will await your rope then.
So I'll try to throw this up. Is it just athletics
Yeah.
or strength? Well, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, it'll be strength, but
11.
yeah, you're able to throw it. I'll say you're able to throw it all the way up to Pyro. You guys start swinging around like crazy and let the momentum kind of carry it up there. Pyro, give me a dex check, see if you catch it.
I thought I was just gonna let it like pass over and then grab it once it was done, but
Well, no, that's going to be a
That's true.
much harder throw for Jez to try and make, trying to wrap a grappling hook around 40 feet up in the air. Yeah, so you catch it without any problem. You can now kind of set it up the way Jez explained it to you.
I will do so, and then
Okay, give me an
sure
athletics
it's a
check
sturdy
to shimmy down.
make sure to what, Jez?
So make sure to pick a sturdy part.
Oh, okay.
Well, like that whole thing he's been standing on is like a
Yeah.
couple of feet thick. It ain't getting any sturdier. You're able to shimmy down the rope easily enough, and you are now safely on the ground.
I'm gonna
I
let go
will-
of the rope and grab a grappling hook.
Yep. Yeah, it takes
Easy peasy.
takes you some like jiggling it around as the barbs on it kind of get dug into the tree from Pyro's weight. But after some time and like throwing some rocks up at it, you're able to dislodge it.
Throw another grappling hook.
Throw another grappling hook to catch onto that grappling hook.
And then I'll show them what was up there. I'll show them the ointment. But like this, it feels magic-y. Also, my armor is destroyed.
That's not
It's
something.
not,
you
it's not so much
just
destroyed, but
anyway.
yeah, you got like this big just big tear like all like right through the front of it. You
Does
know, you remember that as it clawed at your armor, like its claws almost seemed to like just magically just melt through your chainmail, like it was
Does it
not like it was made out of
mechanically-
mud.
does it mechanically lower his AC?
It does by 1.
Okay.
His AC is now 1 point less, or that armor is its AC is 1 point less. So if you
I don't know,
replaced
so-
it with different armor, then it would be fine. But
I'm not sure if your leather armor would be better for it or not.
Nah, I don't think so.
Anyways,
Uh,
if it was a regular attack, like if he was in regular combat with it, I would have given him I would have basically rolled to see if it got to the shield or the armor, because it could have done it to the shield too. But that attack kind of came out of nowhere while he was trying to like pet it, or like he was trying to do the animal handling check. So that was going to be all armor.
I could give him my shield too. Anyways,
it won't make a difference. I'm not carrying 2 shields.
no, I mean if your shield gets busted, I'll just give you mine.
Make yourself chainmail out of shields.
Shield mail.
Can I do that? Can I like strap a shield to my chest?
No,
Oh.
no, you can't.
We could just find better armor. Maybe
Yes,
the Firefingers.
in the jungle.
I'm sure the Firefinger people The Firefinger tribe. I keep calling them Firefingers.
The,
Are they actually
the Terra
Firefingers?
people?
Yeah, they are.
The
I'm
10-foot
sure they-
tall pterodactyl people?
I'm sure they've killed people with plate armor. Or at least
We'll
chain.
find out.
Um,
If we ever get there.
I don't recognize this stuff at all, do I?
Give me an Arcana check.
Can I try as well?
Everybody who's trying.
Sure. Now that you guys are kind of SOL, not having
Oh.
anybody to do Arcana
Rest.
checks.
Forgot
Oh,
about
wait.
Pyro,
forgot about
being...
the disadvantage.
Oh yeah, I'll let it slide for this one.
Okay.
It's not a physical one.
I also forgot about the disadvantage on his shimmying down the rope too, but the 15 would have been plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, Pyro, you've read about this stuff before, being a paladin, having a Healy background, and all sorts of heals and Healy different things. You believe this is a jar of what is known as Kyogtom's ointment. Kyogtom's ointment. So,
Not how I would've spelled it.
give me 1d4 roll. So, inside are 3 doses of. It's a very thick, like a very thick mixture inside. Like it's very much an ointment, and you know that as an action, you could apply 1 dose of the ointment. It can be swallowed or applied to the skin. The creature that receives it regains 2d8 plus 2 hit points, and they cease to be poisoned and are cured of any disease.
Super mega root.
So you have essentially a potion that can be used 3 times to cure 2d8 plus 2 hit points. It also will cure diseases and poisoning. It takes a full action to use it, though. As opposed to like a bonus action, like swirling down a potion. But... So that is what you found up in the tree. That's one of the few things on that list I actually didn't know off the top of my head, and I had to look up. It's like Kyogtom's ointment. I don't remember what that shit is.
Oh, it's a lot more exciting than the fucking nugget you found yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
I will just hand it to Jez if he wants it, since he's the one who saw it.
I just seen the dude.
Oh. The one who saw the dude.
So,
I mean,
Neither of you want it, I'll take it. I'm holding on to all the
You
healing things
would.
anyway.
well, see, the thing is,
well, you should. If anything, you'd probably be better to give it to Jez because he's the only one that doesn't have a reliable source of healing.
yeah. I have one reliable source, short rest.
Because Pyro
Is
can lay
that-
on hands himself.
Yeah.
Wacky's got healing spells, and you've got
I'll
your not action surge.
second wind.
Second wind.
You have a second wind that'll get you 1d10 healing, or whatever
Plus
it is.
5.
Oh, sorry, 1d10 plus 5.
Here, I
One.
pretty much is.
Yeah. I got it.
I mean, it also can be applied to someone. Like you could also like use it to. You could
On
apply
others.
it to somebody else and stuff like that. It's a useful healing apparatus.
Too bad I can't give it to my familiar and have a little combat medic.
Have a pocket healer.
So, after your adventure with the tree, as Pyro's
wanna-
kind of.
Do we want to go look at the monster and see if we can eat him?
Yeah, I mean,
I will say like you
Like,
if you
can
ask
have his fur.
if you eat or if you ask Azaka about it, she doesn't really recommend eating it. So they're not really
Can
all
we
that
use
edible.
its claw for things?
No.
The
The
magic
claw's
beyond.
power is non-transferable. So,
We need to find water, guys.
Yeah.
yeah. So late afternoon, the rains do begin to start, and they get to be probably about medium strength rain, enough that you will be able to get. Actually, they would, yeah, medium strength rain. So, looking ahead, kind of like peering. Once you get to a clearing, kind of peering up at the sky, you imagine the rain is going to continue through the evening. So you kind of keep marching on through the jungle, and you march on through the jungle. And when you make camp, you're able to set up your rain catchers and get up to 4 gallons of water if you leave them up for the evening.
So we'd pretty much just get 2 gallons, drink it, and then get 2 more.
That's a good question. I wonder how that would work. We'll say yeah, because the
Well-
2 gallons are supposed to be like throughout the day, but yeah. So you guys can, yeah, essentially like chug back 2 gallons of water and then have 2 gallons to take with you.
It would be more like we'd be parched all day, and then we would start drinking, and then throughout the rest of the night before we go to bed, while we're at camp.
Well, yeah, you would drink like up until you go to sleep, and then essentially like
Yeah.
fill up your things with the last couple of gallons in the morning, because it would take all night for that 4 gallons to accumulate, anyways.
Yeah.
So give me your survival checks. See if you guys can hunt down some food.
Come on, 2 nat 20s.
I will roll. Wow. All right. Well, is that
Nope.
a crit?
Hey, you still got 1.
I got
So
1.
yeah, you guys find a bounty of food between the 3 of you. Yeah, you find enough food for today and tomorrow. So
I
you
hate
guys.
to say this. They're at disadvantage.
Thanks, Jez. Thanks for being
God
honest.
damn it, Jazz.
Hey, maybe he'll give us something better tomorrow.
No, he
I
won't.
crit failed.
Better to be honest.
Well, luckily, I still rolled an 18 on my disadvantage check for Izaka. So she is able to drum up enough food for all of you, despite all of your lack of help. So you guys have enough food to eat today. You do not have the extra food to take with you, but she manages to dig up enough food for you all to eat this evening, so you don't have to start digging into your rations. You guys get to sleep. The night.
Throw the hut up for tonight.
Okay, you get into your hut. The night passes without any incident. In the
you
morning,
want us
you
to bed?
fill up. In the morning, you take your 2 gallons of water that you all have left over in your rain catchers. Fill up your water for today, and set off. So give me your exhaustion is now gone. You guys got a good enough sleep and ate and drank.
Good thing.
Ow.
So
This is what happens when we don't have any more wisdom people in the party.
Yeah. We have
Hear
one,
that,
but
Sat? If you're still here, you better roll a wisdom-based character.
there's 3 of them. 2 of them. Technically 3 of them. 4.
well, you could all sorts of them. You could be a fighter and be wisdom based.
I know.
You'd be terrible at fighting things, but you could have super high wisdom if you wanted to.
There's druid and cleric, obviously, and then there's monk and ranger that have it as a second stat.
Yeah, I mean anybody can just fill up on wisdom if they want to.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Or they can-
doesn't mean it'll be useful for them, but as long as they have like a couple things like perception and that, like perception and like animal handling or like nature.
Yeah.
Take wisdom if they want to. Just mean you'll suck at all the things you're supposed to be good at.
Have stat come in as a groan.
So, so you guys march on for the day. you have a pretty peaceful day for the most part. The only thing of note that seems to happen is late afternoon, as you're kind of getting towards the end of your day. The rain tapers off. Throughout the day, and it starts to clear up in the afternoon. And at one point, you're all kind of hungry and tired and thirsty, and like you're all just having kind of a miserable day. You're pretty sure you know which way you're going, but you're not 100% sure.
Why do I feel like we're going this way?
We could be going anyway.
Like, you look out amongst the trees, and you're like, that looks a lot like Port Nyanzaru. It's crazy. But you guys kind of, you hear like some snapping, like a couple of very faint, like kind of snapping of twigs. And as you kind of peer through the bushes, you see what looks like 3 or 4 quite large-sized rabbits with unicorn horns that are just kind of milling about, and they're just kind of like eating a couple of plants, and they have not taken any notice of you whatsoever. But
Plants.
What are they?
they're probably about they're probably about the same size as that koala thing you fought in the tree. They're probably about they're like the size of a like medium-sized dog almost. But it looks like a big fluffy bunny with a 1-foot-long spiral unicorn horn sticking out of the top of its head.
I want to go pet it.
So,
Stop you.
Azaka
we're
kind of like
hungry.
whispers to one of you
Huh?
that those are Almirage.
They good? They're gonna eat me. I go
Can
pet
we
it.
eat them?
They are Almirage. She tells you that they are, she says it is, they live in earthen burrows all throughout the jungle. She says it's rare to see them. They are very, very timid and spook easily. Coming across even one of them is a rarity.
I don't know if I want to sneak up on it or if I
Hey,
want
you got a dagger that shoots webs.
to. I do.
You
That's
want to
me.
web them?
I don't want to web them. I want to pet them.
He wants to be friendly with them. I want to eat them.
Well, if you let Pyro have the insides to eat, you could keep the fur to pet.
There we go. Problem solved.
I mean,
You could make
Compromise.
your familiar an Almirage like onesie.
that's mean. And have a horde coming off of
It's
it.
like what are those like? What are they? Kitagumi or Katagumi sweaters or whatever?
Kigurumi.
Kigurumi.
Or Kigurumi. Yeah, you can make it a Kigurumi to wear.
Meanwhile, Carl's conflicted because it's like, Pass wants one thing, but we're really hungry.
Yeah, your stomachs are probably growling a bit at this point in the day, and it looks like these are big rabbits. These are the biggest rabbits you've ever seen.
Are they like facing our direction? They just don't see us, or are they facing?
Nope, they're just kind of all facing this little patch of sort of a very almost like clovery looking bits of like grass and hedge. It looks like they just found a patch of whatever they want, whatever they eat, whatever specific plant that they eat.
I'll ask Azaka if they are in any way like sacred or like revered, or like do people like go like, oh my god, it's a this. Yeah, they're rare to see, but like, are they in any way important or special, or can we eat them?
How much would she know about the Almirage? Wow, she knows a lot. She tells you that they are not native to Cholt, or at least they never used to be. They were brought to Cholt long ago by merchants of the distant land of Zakara.
They're literally
they're-
rabbits.
They are rabbits. They're just these big unicorny rabbits.
Because rabbits weren't native to places, and
She
they're
she tells you that they are very skilled at evading predators, and because of that, they have flourished, and they're just all over the place, all over Cholt now. But because they're so good at like running and hiding and burrowing that, it's sometimes rare to see them, but they are all over the place.
I
So
wanna
no one would cry if we ate one or two.
I wanna start stealthing my way towards them, but on all fours, so I'm not imposing. Like I wanna slowly creep my way that way.
I will ready
Wait.
a
Bow.
yeah
No.
for if they start
A
to
bow,
run.
bow or javelin? I'll say that you guys are probably about 50 feet away from them.
It's gonna take a while for me to get to it.
Weapons.
You could web them, then they can't get away.
Yeah, but that's no way to make friends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to work it because I wanna like try to
Bow.
befriend them, but I can't do an animal handling check unless they see me. But if they see me, they're gonna run.
You do get the hint from Azaka that like
They're
if
gonna
they
run anyways.
if they become aware of your presence whatsoever, they'll get spooked and just bolt.
Then I'm gonna sneak up on them anyways.
I will have a bow ready. So I see them start getting ready to run.
Okay. Jez begins to creep slowly. You get like 15 feet closer to them. One of them probably pokes his head up a little bit and kind of like sniffs the air, and then kind of goes back to like nibbling on the grass.
Am I downwind or upwind?
I'm going to say that you are.
Neutral.
I'll say that you're up. Yeah, I'll say that you're neutral. That's the fair way of doing it.
Actually, I'm gonna prep a spell. I see them start to run.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
go-
prep a sleep spell if I see them start to run.
Well, sleep hits a group, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you roll the number and then.
Oh
just
yeah, I know it's
starts
the health thing. Do you remember how
Yeah.
big of a?
It says 90 feet.
That's the range. but-
Creatures within 20
20 feet.
creatures within 20 feet of a point you choose. Okay. Guess I should clarify. I will say there's 4 of them.
Oh, double lucky.
So
How far apart are they? Are they all like?
a few
clustered?
they're within a 10-foot group essentially.
Okay. And I'll start making my way a little closer.
So
Oh, that's pretty bad.
you feel like a small twig just kind of like give under your foot and snap, and 4 furry little heads just all pop up at the same time.
Pyro! Pyro!
So
I said I was readying a bow.
God damn it.
Why do you want to eat them so bad?
what is the? They get a roll full blah, 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 creatures affected in ascending order. Do they get a? They don't get a saving throw, do they?
No.
Okay, so Wacky puts all 4 of them to sleep,
Oh shit.
and they all you just see 4 furry little heads just bolt up and like look around, and like their heads just start darting around until they spot Jez, and then they all start to their eyes start to just droop, and they start to slump back down, and one of them just gets skewered to an arrow as it starts to kind of slump
Traumatizing.
down. So now one of them's like pinned to the earth by an arrow.
Oh, there's your one, Pyro.
Feel it.
The other 3 are fast asleep.
I
Damn it.
said I was
Yeah.
readying a bow.
Actually,
can't
I
go
know.
back
Look.
on that.
I know you
They
were.
look like that.
Oh.
Now I feel bad.
Yeah. Like I said, they're rabbits with horns.
They are
we're still eating
big.
that one.
They are big, fluffy bunnies with horns, with
I am
unicorn
hungry
horns.
mad.
I got no way.
The
to-
other 3.
Well, now we got 3 of them.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with 3 of them? Like, what do you want to do with
Love them,
Any-
cherish them.
I wanted to pet it. I just wanted to pet it.
Well, you could definitely pet it now.
Yeah. Now that it's gonna see its dead friend.
Well, we'll move it before it
Hide
wakes
the-
up.
Hide the dead friend.
They'll think that one got away.
Yeah. Hide the dead friend
Uh,
first.
How
Are they
long does
friends
sleep?
or something?
How long does sleep
Or-
last?
A
Until
long time.
they get woken up, I'm pretty sure.
It's a minute.
A minute. Yeah, there it is. A minute
Yeah.
or until they get woken up.
Okay, so you have a minute to figure out what you want to do with these bunnies.
I just
Oh,
want
you
to
should
hide
probably...
one. Hide the dead one. And then
Okay.
I just
I'll
want to.
take the dead one and I'll move it away.
I just want to pet the other one. They're big fuckers, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
How much is this thing gonna feed? How many of us is this thing gonna feed?
I'll say that you guys could get like today's meal out of the one.
Borrow's meal out of the second.
Oh god, I hate you.
But you could definitely get like a good day's meal out of just the one for the whole group because there's quite a bit of meat. You don't even have to make it into stew. You all just get like big chunks of rabbit meat.
I want to pick one of them up. I'm just
Okay.
gonna hold it.
This thing probably weighs like a good like 30-40 pounds. It's like picking up like a medium-sized dog essentially.
Oh.
I'll pick up the dead one and just.
Yeah, because this
Away.
thing standing up like it is in the drawing, it's probably the bunny itself is 3 to 4 feet tall. So it's like it's like toddler size. No, it's like 5 or 6 year old sized like rabbit. Because the horn is 1 foot long. It's like these are big. Yeah, these are big. Probably like 50-60 pound bunnies. These are big bunnies.
Well, these two are like, oh, cute bunny. I'm gonna be like, oh, cute me.
I'm just gonna pet the
I
bunny.
could have gone either way. Like
As
I didn't
long
want
as
to
I pet
upset
the bunny.
Kaz.
Yeah.
Azaka's kind of ambivalent either way. She'll help Pyro. She'll help Pyro dress the bunny for dinner. Like
I don't
break
wanna
it
see
down.
face. But yeah,
So,
I just want
Pyro and Azaka go
Oh,
off.
God.
They go off like a little ways away to like sort of. Actually, no. I guess like you guys are still a little bit from making camp. So yeah, they would have. they pack it up into like a backpack.
I'll come
Or-
back and pet the living ones a couple of times. Be like, okay, yeah, these things are
I don't
cute,
think it's that
but I'm
long.
also pretty hungry.
I don't think you have that long. Because it only lasts a minute, so by the time you get
Yeah,
back,
you
probably-
Pyro, you and Azaka essentially probably strap this thing
Oh,
to
okay.
like a stick and carry it, like the way you see like adventurers like get strapped up to like a stick to get eaten by like native tribes and.
I thought you
adventure
would've
movies.
here.
Well, if you guys had like a car, you could like throw it on the hood of your car.
I just wanted to pet it, and then it wakes up, and then it probably attacks me, and it runs
Yeah,
away.
it's well, as you're cradling the sleeping rabbit, it eventually stirs and it starts like just like scrambling and kicking at you. I'm imagining
let it
you're
go.
not holding on to, you're not holding it
No.
down, so it doesn't have too
wasn't
much
holding
trouble,
on
kind of just like
at all.
kicking you off. It's not enough to damage you, but it seems to have quite a bit of force behind it. You know, being a fairly decent sized creature.
Let's see how bad my petting was. That was pretty good petting.
There you
Pretty
go.
good.
It's pretty good petting. Yeah, you see the things just bolt, and within like a few seconds, those 3 rabbits are just gone.
Well, those 3 rabbits will make 500.
I finally got to use sleep again.
Yep. Probably should have
You-
started with that.
You missed out.
Yep, I
You-
forgot that I had it. It's been so long.
You missed out on a couple of other days worth of food, but that's fine. If you guys had like
Oh,
the
well.
provisions and the time and that, you could have made like all sorts of rabbit stew.
Mm,
Alright, I guess
more
we
like
move on.
Almirage do.
Yeah.
Is the horn worth anything? I don't think we can eat that.
You definitely can't eat the horn. You could hold on to it if you want to.
You might be able to sell it.
And you might be able to sell it for a couple of gold somewhere. Some kind of poacher or something like that might buy it off of you.
I think I'll just like hold on to it for myself.
Okay, make a necklace out of it.
No,
It's
no,
one.
Disconnected from your channel.
Maybe
Nope,
not
there
a
goes
necklace,
that.
That might like traumatize Cassie even further.
Yeah. You might find that in your neck.
So,
Oh,
you
God.
guys have probably the best meal you've had ever since you set out into this jungle.
I'm
Like,
sobbing
you were-
my entire way through the meal.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm sorry.
Like you're
I'm
you're
so
crying, but at the same time you can't
Stupid
deny how
tasty
delicious it is.
sorry.
Yeah, stupid tasty El Mirage.
Especially like living off the stuff you've been living off of for the last like several days. Like this thing just tastes
I'm
like
gonna
heaven.
feel a little bad, but not bad enough to like comfort her or anything. I'm just gonna like, this is worth it.
Yeah.
You probably
Worth it.
feel bad until you actually take a bite and taste it. It's like, oh, it's so worth it. Best choice.
I am so sorry.
Oh wait,
Don't-
that's too big.
Don't pretend you feel any differently,
I
Karen.
was gonna see if I can recast my.
I feel a little bit bad.
recast my familiar as an El Mirage, but it's like, no, that's a dog-sized animal. That's not gonna work.
Uh,
Like, we'll save the fur and the horn and like all of that stuff. Like, have it on us. I'll hold on to it.
do you have the find? Yeah, your spell's find familiar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very specific ones that it can be.
Oh, okay. Because that is actually something in the books. Like, with the DM's permission, the find familiar spell can summon an Almirage.
That they usually add that, but it's for like NPCs. But I doubt you would want that, even though I rarely use my familiar anyways.
I mean, basically, it would just be the exact same thing your familiar is now, just with
A baby thing with horn.
Anyway, so you guys make it through the evening. The rain starts up partway through the night.
Hut goes up.
Azaka, it's the rain starts during her, like when she gets woken up for her shift, and she manages to get all the rain catchers set up. So by the time you guys wake up in the morning, you have enough water to fill up your day's quotient, your 2 gallons. There's 2 gallons in all of your rain catchers. As the rain sort of begins to slow down to like a light drizzle by the time you wake up in the morning. So give me your checks. See,
Oh boy.
All of us or just her?
well,
Sure.
wacky for the survival check.
This is the third
Ugh.
time. This is the third day in a row I've rolled an 11.
Yep. So you march on. Like the last few days you've been trying to figure out where you are on the map, but you haven't really been coming across any landmarks or anything that's like denoted on your map. So you're like, well, feels like we're going the right way. You're confident you know what you're doing.
Apparently, El Mirage in real life, 8 people.
Yes. In the middle of the night, the rest of the Almirage come back to eat you. Except there's 50 of them. So you guys continue your travels. I would say about early afternoon. The rains continue on lightly throughout the day. And about early afternoon, probably what would be like 1 or 2 o'clock or so, you come across a fairly good-sized river.
Does it look River Kiriki?
Yeah, the river's, quite a few feet across.
Oh, that's
This is not a creek. You come across like a substantial river, like something that's probably about like 25, 30 feet across or more. And for the first time you figure like, well, we've kind of veered off course a little bit. Somehow we've ended up possibly to the east, maybe to the west. You kind of look and you guys realize you've been walking between 2 rivers. The rivers Soshin Star and the river Tiriki.
so it's one of those.
Yeah.
Can we make survival checks to figure out which one?
The next
That's-
day you can.
Yeah, that's the start of the day thing. Well, we might as well make up the difference for our water and boil it when we make camp.
I can just use a spell slot for it.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yep. So you guys chug back a bunch of water, fill up your canteens to full. Luckily for you, you did, as the rain as like the afternoon starts to settle in and the day starts to run its course, the rain stops pretty much completely and kind of dries up. Are you going to stay on the side of the river that you're on, or are you going to cross the river and continue on?
I think we
I think
should
staying
stay
on
on
the
this side
Yeah.
because crossing the river could put us even further away. But we know it's on the river, so
Well, it's across. You do know, like, if this is the river if this is the river you're supposed to be heading towards, you need to cross it eventually. But
yeah, but
If we need to cross it eventually, we can cross
should-
it when we know this is
yeah,
the
when
river
we know
need to
when we're
cross.
on the right river.
okay, so you guys kind of just, are you gonna stick like right to the river bank, or are you gonna go back into the woods and?
Stick on the riverbank, I think.
Yeah, the woods are pretty tight to the river anyways, but you can kind of
It's
walk.
more keep the river in sight.
Okay. So you kind of trudge on for the rest of the day. Give me your foraging checks to see if you can find some food. Zaka doesn't find too much.
Mm,
You find a pack of Almirage. I leave them alone. That's a 1.
I will say Azaka with that roll. Yeah. So she manages to scrape together enough food for you guys to eat. It's not like a super filling meal. And, even if it was like a good filling meal, you feel like it would just be an utter disappointment after the absolute feast you had yesterday. So nighttime comes. You guys set up your rain catchers just in case. No rain throughout the night, but you spend some time in camp, using Pyro's magic and like your campfire to purify all your water. So you guys are basically full up on water, like your full 3 gallons, whatever you guys have for water storage is all full with nice clean water. Nothing happens throughout the evening. Morning comes. Make your check. On day 8 now.
Hopefully she's back. Yeah.
Not by much.
That's better. Getting there.
Yeah.
Sticking by the river, you are able to figure out, like, by walking along like the banks of the river and like studying how it bends and which way it goes, you are able to figure out that you are here. Can't click on it. Technically here.
Yeah. Okay, so we just noticed the river bends at a 90-degree angle. We're like, that's got to be here.
Yeah, well, you basically, as you're kind of walking along it, you're keeping an eye on like which way it goes and which way it like switches back and comparing it to your map, and you're pretty sure based on like how far you've walked, you're pretty sure this is where you are. So which way you guys gonna try and go?
Tomorrow we should probably ford across it, right?
Yeah, you can keep an eye out. Like Azaka has told you that there are lots of places where the river slows. Like, they just kind of come and go, where the river gets shallow, that you can get across without too much trouble.
Yeah, well, what we were saying is, once we find out that we're on the right river, then we would cross it when we have the chance.
Yep.
Guess we're going down here.
Alright, so your aim is to head to this one.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get lost, so I'm just going to put you down there. So yeah, you guys continue to follow on.
We moved 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes.
This must be day 9, not day 8. Because you guys didn't go terribly far off course, but you did go like over here and then like back this way, or no, I think you ended up coming like this way and like down and then like over back that way.
It does mean we're down to 51 doses of insect repellent.
Yeah, you did lose a day or two sidestepping instead of going straight down. But you didn't go backwards at all.
We lost 4 days in total.
Yeah, it's got to be day 9. Yeah, so you continue through. Not too long after you set out, you come across another pack of zombies. Looks like probably about a dozen of them. You can... Yeah, they just seem to be kind of milling about. You can... They have not spotted you. You catch them, like, pretty far out. The zombies are not typically hard to see coming, for the most part. And you get them early enough in the day that you don't have... Going around them is not... like, that's a pretty feasible option.
Yeah. I
And
think
we'll go around.
Yeah, we'll definitely go around. 12 zombie will take a...
Because, like, yeah, if you run into a big pack of them towards the end of the day, it might be a bit more trouble, because now, like, they might come upon you while you're camping, like, while you're sleeping.
Can't
But
get very much distance.
right now, you'll be able to put so much distance between you and the herd of zombies that even if they came straight for you, like, they're not going to catch up. So, you guys are going to go around. You spend most of the day. Day's pretty clear and sunny. Just makes the jungle feel hotter. You know, like, it's a little bit less muggy today, but it's definitely way hotter with the nice weather.
Not the heat, it's the humidity.
I'm guessing, are you guys going to continue to sort of stick by the river
Yeah,
as
we
sort of a, like, water source?
Yeah.
Considering there's no rain today, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys kind of keep hugging the river. Give me your forage checks to look for food.
I wish I actually contributed in this portion of the game.
Imagine if you still had a
roll
druid.
20. Why would you do that?
Give me a survival check, Pyro. Yeah.
Pyro is
Why did I roll
just
my
getting
plus?
back.
Oh.
Weird.
I rolled higher than you,
Regardless of what Pyro rolls, the 3 of you are able to find you, like the 3 of you 2 and Azaka, and possibly Pyro. His role is kind of irrelevant. You guys are able to...
Survival.
Yeah, you guys are just digging up food for the night.
No.
Pyro just sits back at camp, watching your guys' stuff, dreaming of how delicious that rabbit was, and just secretly hoping you guys run into another pack of them. So, you guys get to sleep.
What did we do today? Just real quick. Nothing.
We found some
Nothing.
zombies early on, so we sidestepped.
We found ourselves, at least that.
Well, we found ourselves when we found the river.
So,
We didn't
give
know which
me...
river we were
night passes without any problem. Give me survival check.
There we go.
Back
Now,
on track.
you know exactly where you are. You're like, yep. You've been kind of keeping an eye on the progress of the river. Yeah, you're 100% sure you know where you're going.
Let's just go over here.
Yeah, just
by the
keep
river.
I'm guessing just keep following the river
Yeah.
all the way to
Yeah.
Firefinger.
Also gets us kind of out of the undead zone.
So, midway through the day, you find another body. This one a little different than the one that Pyro came across. This
tree?
one is partially it is partially in a tree, but it's only like a few feet up in the air, and it is it is contorted. The thing looks kind of half ruined. It doesn't look like a zombie, but it looks like big chunks of it are missing, and its body is just kind of broken and contorted, and like it's kind of wrapped spine first around like a big log from like that's kind of leaned up against a tree. Looking at the canopy, you can see some kind of holes punched in the jungle canopy. It looks like this thing had been dropped,
So
or he fell. It looks like he fell from the sky or was dropped by something carrying him through the sky.
Is he low enough for us to just like reach up and grab him?
Yep. Yeah, he's like 3-4 feet off the ground.
I'll poke him with my sword first.
Okay.
I'll ask I'll ask Azaka if Terrafolk are silent hunters, or do they make a lot of noise?
She says they're not the most stealthy of creatures. They're not super careful due to their like large size and the fact that they like to
Advantage.
well that and like they tend to hunt around in packs. Like sometimes you find them by themselves, sometimes you find them, with a group. But yeah, they're not terribly stealthy because they don't really attempt to be.
Just making sure if we notice that they were still here.
Yeah, she doesn't think that like they would be the type to try and lure you in with like a trap like this. Like they'd prefer kind of more open spaces where they can just kind of swoop at you like a bird.
Yeah.
Because that's where they would have the most advantage. Yeah, looking it over, she kind of points out some of the injuries and the wounds, and says that yeah, like this thing was dropped here by one of the Terra folk.
Is there any, like, after I poke the body, anything happen?
Nope. Body does not come to life.
Is there anything on the body worth taking?
Give me a percentile roll. Nope. Does not seem to have anything of value.
Cool.
If it did, it either dropped it, or somebody else has picked it clean, or perhaps the Terra folk may have kept it.
Maybe it had one of those jars as well, but it smashed.
Maybe
Like
it
the
had
fact-
mirage meat on him.
The fact that Azaka claims that the Terra folk stole a mask from her, like she, like she claims that like they stole that mask from her, so obviously they're smart enough to like take things that are valuable. So anything this thing might have had, the Terra folk probably just kept it.
I'm refreshing real quick.
What, I should ask some point during our travels, I'd ask her what this mask looks like so that if we find it, we can say, hey, we found it.
She tells you that it is, like, it will be at Firefinger. And she says, I will recognize it when I see it. It has,
Okay.
it is a wooden, tells you it is a wooden depiction of a tiger.
Okay. Just making sure we don't bug her with, like,
Is this the mask?
every mask.
Is this
Yeah.
the mask? Is this the mask?
She tells you, like, they would be keeping it, like, it will be at Firefinger itself.
Yeah. I figured it just once we get there.
So, you guys have a pretty uneventful day. The rest of the evening spent. Give me your foraging checks. I'm going to sort of forego. You guys are just going to take the river the whole way to Firefinger, so I'm just going to assume you guys keep boiling water, filling up your water with like river water and all that.
Yeah, unless it's raining.
Wacky finds like a few like edible like fruits and stuff like that. Not too much.
Oh, Wacky finds some edibles.
Yeah, you guys don't really.
Can we fish or something?
Well, that would be part of
That would be part of the foraging. Like that's probably what Wacky ended up doing, was catching like a small fish. Like one small fish. She waited till she saw a fish passing by and cast sleep on it, and then like dove in after it. Once it like floated to the top.
We could act as a team.
Yeah, Jez could grab it with
Mage
the
hand.
mage hand after you put it to sleep.
You put a school of fish to sleep, and I'll grab it with mage hand.
Hey, you got a minute to scoop them out of the water before they all.
Yeah.
If you had a net, you could like fish them out with the net.
This is happening. I'm like, who thought that an entertainer was going to end up doing this?
Entertaining us with food.
Breeds
Guess that's
necessity.
Well, you
Okay.
definitely didn't expect me to do it.
So, night passes. When you wake up in the morning, there's like you guys go to bed pretty hungry. Like Wacky's not able to. Wacky's meal kind of sustains you a bit, but you still wake up pretty hungry. When you wake up,
Jesus.
you find that Azaka, you find Azaka's already up, and she's like grilling up, like kind of a big pig. Like it looks like she's went and caught like some kind of large boar.
I
Jesus
probably would have
Christ.
helped her with that. This is like I take the 4th shift.
Yeah, well, you found like when you woke up for your shift that she was missing, that she wasn't like I guess yeah, because you had last shift. So yeah, when you woke up to relieve her, you found that she was gone. And then like by the time everyone was starting to wake up, she would have come back with the boar. Not being able to go like looking for her because you would have had to stick around and keep an eye on your friends because you couldn't really leave them sleeping. It was probably a bit worrying until she eventually came back at like sunrise with like a big huge boar like fucking slung over her shoulder.
You know, I technically could also take up watch with my familiar. Have it just hang out. Got as good as vision as me. Better,
So-
actually.
You guys wake up to a very filling breakfast.
Bacon.
Yep. And it's not like a cute furry animal either.
We're only like 3 days away from having eggs, too.
Some people think pigs are cute. I am not one
Oh,
of those.
this was
Boars
this
are
was
not
this was a wild boar. This wasn't
Boars
like
are
a
not
cute
pigs.
little like baby pig. In fact, there's probably enough meat left over that you guys will be able to eat tonight too.
We should probably
Beyond that, you can't really like even if you guys got a ton of meat and a ton of food, keeping it like drying it out and keeping it fresh would be a bit of a problem.
We could salt it.
Did you guys bring salt?
That's something we
No.
probably should have done.
That's what I said. We could invest in salt, and then next time we could salt it. Let's find one of those mines. Maybe one of them is a salt mine.
There you go. So Wacky, give me your check for the day.
Nope, we're lost.
Well, we're following the river and we get lost.
Like,
Well,
can
we
we
probably
get lost
turn a
following
quarter.
the river?
We probably turn a quarter, and the river's no longer there. We either backtrack, which we might do automatically, or but we just
Yeah, I'm
Remember,
basically I'm gonna limit the amount of ways you can end up lost from this one since you are specifically following the river. Other than that,
two checks is still pretty big.
the day continues to be dry. Like there doesn't seem to be rain for another. It doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime in the next couple of days, from what you're able to tell before you set out. You continue down. For the most part, you have a pretty quiet day. You don't really have to go looking for food much, because you've got food. You kind of lose track of the river based on like where you have to kind of go through the woods. Like the woods kind of naturally fork you away from it, and due to some like kind of cliff faces and that, you're kind of having to push in far enough that you can no longer see it. So you're just trying to be like, okay, no, river's there, like that way. Just keep track of that as you follow through. You're left
You know what?
most...
I never thought. Do they have compasses in D&D?
Yep.
That would have been
mean-
the smartest thing to get.
That was one of the things in my loot table of like random low-level magic items was a dagger that
I think you mentioned it.
like one of the items in there was like a dagger or something like that, or something that tells you which way north is. Like if that you could that was its magical properties, it would always
Couldn't we just like magnetize something, put it in water?
Well, you don't have to magnetize it. You just put a paper clip.
you just gotta go find a paperclip.
Yeah.
So you
that
don't
in
need to
the bowl.
forage because you still have leftover pork. You've got plenty of water to get you through the evening. you're confident enough that you'll be back beside the river tomorrow. Doesn't matter, there's no rain. So
Am I confident? I'm not sure.
sure. Okay. Next
Confident in
day.
yourself. Can't you do that yet?
So give me today's survival check.
Advantage. Oh my god.
You
So you figure out that yes, you were like by following the river and keeping it to like your right hand side, you were able to stay on track, despite like. So basically, you like after trudging through the woods, thinking like, well, we're fucked. We're probably fucked. We're fucked. Then you get to like this lower bend down here. As you kind of move into this area, as you reach like the next bend in the river, and it comes into your view, you're like, oh, thank God. Yeah, there it is. It was fine. Knew it the whole time. Totally knew it. So, you guys have a pretty quiet day. You're able to fill up all your water. You get to sort of the outskirts of where Firefinger is. You get like a couple of miles away from it and set up camp. You're actually more than a couple. You're probably a few miles from it. And Azaka tells you that it would be best, like now that we're approaching, getting closer to it, it would be best to approach it at night or under the cover of rain, which you don't know if like the rain's going to come in or not. But
Wow.
it's been starting to get kind of overcast throughout the day, so it looks like the rains might start up again. But she does recommend that we make camp. Like once you guys get to the end of the day, she recommends that everyone kind of makes camp. You eat, drink up, and all that, and then you should be able to make it to Firefinger pretty easily the next day. Probably by mid to late afternoon, but she recommends that you basically get eyes on it and then like wait it out. Like just wait out into like the darkness and then creep up on it. So that is her recommendation to you.
Darkness is best. They can't see in the dark either, right? So they would have to have torches. Does she know?
She does not think that they can see in the dark.
Oh, that's convenient.
She doesn't, as far as she is aware, they are not, they didn't, like, their eyesight is not really any better than a human's. As far as she is aware, she's not 100% sure on that. But that's what she believes anyways.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of us will be able to see.
So, with your goal in mind, you're able to kind of keep to the riverbank where it's very easy to track your progress. Make your camp for the night, and the next day, you will make your approach on Firefinger, and that is where we will leave off. Barely getting to our first objective in the session, but we did get there. As usual, I will thank everybody for coming out. Anybody watching live on Twitch and anybody that watches this on the YouTube, I hope the stream's been okay. According to my OBS, it's been really choppy because my internet's been just kind of, it's been going fine and then like dropping and then back up to fine, then dropping, and then back. It's just been uneven. So this is what I get for not restarting my router before I stream. I do it like just habitually, and I just didn't bother today. I was like, it's fine. I don't need to do that. I'm being paranoid. I'm not being paranoid. Not at all. Anyways, thank you for coming out. We will see you guys next week as we begin our assault on Firefinger. See you guys.
Bye.